Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Community Gladiators Season 2 Ascension. This is a tournament built for the COD community, giving every single player out there a chance to climb the ranks and prove that legends are not born, they ascend. And today, our Battle Royale Squad Grand Finals. This action is going to be brought to you by your very own Neptune, the gentleman Garcia, and of course myself. I am AJ. People call me the Mustachio. Some people call me Mr. Suave, but whatever you want to call me, I'm just bloody glad to be back, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm really happy to be back right now on this casting with you, AJ. I'm really excited as well to see which of the team out of Malaysia's important Philippines in this community's gladiators who will be taking that championship. Again, our team is to ascend, and we've seen a lot of teams who ascended from the qualifiers into the stage of the grand finals.
Absolutely, and it has not been a easy road at all, especially for MY as well as SG, because the Philippines, man, they are hot, right? We have always known the Philippines. You guys absolutely admire, absolutely love Garena Call of Duty Mobile, and they have beaten the living life out of every other single region, every single other team. But just taking a quick peek here at the tournament schedule, we had the qualifier stage run through the 25th of June all the way down to the 28th, and then the group stage as soon as we kicked off July down to the 4th of July. And now this is the playoffs. Today is July the 10th. It is the playoffs for our Battle Royale squads, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, looking at how the teams did manage to get here, out of 121 squads, we went into the qualifiers. We took down a lot of them. We had 20 squads for each group. And then we are now seeing the 16 teams in this that are going to play 6 rounds of Battle Royale.
Yeah, absolutely. It has not been an easy journey for them at all. We had a lot of them sign up for the competition, right? And if you guys have been following Community Gladiators for a while already, in the past, we just used to have CP. Now, we've got good, cold, hard cash on the table, split between the multiplayer 1v1 as well as squads. We also have got money for BR solo as well as BR squads. So for today, we'll just be focusing on BR squads. The first place takes away 2,000 US dollars. This is not 2,000 pesos, eh? This is 2,000 USD. Second place 1,200. Third place gets 800 USD. And of course, this is only available for the podium finishes. So out of the 16 squads, Neptune, 3 teams are gonna end the day very, very happy.
Well, exactly. I mean, more of a motivation as well as something that would help the squad to increase the odds of them participating in more tournaments, not just in Community Gladiators, because they would have more motivation, they would have more energy, and of course, as you did mention, more cash to work with for the teams as well as the management as well, if they have management.
Look, this is something that I don't know. I haven't been given the authority to say this, but I know this for a fact that the players or all of the COD community out there who want to make jumping into Garena Call of Duty Mobile esports a little bit more of a serious play, you actually have great viability of doing so, right? We just ended the Garena Elite Philippines. We had tons of cash to walk away with there. I mean, you know, you guys saw that LAN event for yourself. Now we have got this Community Gladiators as well with cold hard cash on the table. And it's not going to be the final tournament that we've got lined up for you guys for this year. Things are only going to get bigger. Things are going to get a tad bit better. So you guys better be well prepared, right? And for the teams who are walking away with this good cold hard cash that's laid out here on the table, Neptune, I agree with you. They're going to just be able to equip themselves a tad bit better to take their gameplay up a few notches. I think we've seen a few of the squads do that already. But one thing that, you know, kind of breaks my heart a little bit. Rigid TSG, we saw the team kind of split up very recently. Their players have kind of moved on to different teams. They have not quit playing Call of Duty Mobile. They're now just playing under different rosters. And I say this breaks my heart because we did see their performance in Garena September Cup last year. Rigid TSG were your champions. They beat down Blackfire, Leap Main, a bunch of other squads as well. And then at Garena Elite Philippines, you also did see them become the runner-ups, right? I guess they just could not complete the run. But as far as Community Gladiators go, as far as the Garena September Cup goes, Rigid TSG was the dominator. But in the recent competition, competition at Garena Elite Philippines, it was Leap Main that jumped up to be your main squad. Is it going to be the same team out there today? Is it going to be the same good old dominance? Or do we see somebody new rise up the ranks?
Yeah, I'm looking for the latter. I'm looking for the latter right now. Someone new who will be jumping in and moving up into the ranks. And this gives more opportunity. Again, we are playing with the COD community right now. It's I would say this is somewhat of a grassroots wherein everyone is welcome to join. Everyone who have that dream of being a champion is welcome to join. And with this, this will help like elevate not only your team but also the brand that you're trying to bring. And one reason why you did mention Rigid TSG as well as League Main, it's because of how they are carrying that banner every tournament that they are going to. So more chances for you, for all the players out there to be able to be part of more tournaments like Community Gladiators.
Now, you have to take advantage of the competition as it is right now. Because you see, for the MP side, we already have our pro scene, right? For the longest of time, for many, many years now, we've had Garena Masters. Now, all those players that qualify to the playoffs of Garena Masters are banned from joining Community Gladiators. The same has not been done for Battle Royale just yet. So if you see a few more additions coming up, I would really suggest you guys to jump on in there, try your luck, because very soon we are not going to allow the big boys to join here already. And that's just purely an assumption, looking at how we are growing the Battle Royale scene here in MYST as well as the Philippines, mainly the Philippines, since you guys seem to be whooping everybody out of the competition.
Well, yeah, it's more of how they also do the scrims, and even before tournaments just like this, like we do, like they do a lot of scrims. Teams out there, they do a lot of scrims, and there's also participation. It's just the adaptation of the teams, and we know for a fact that every region have a different flavor, a different strategy all throughout. And probably one reason why the Philippines has always been part of that is because that strategy is one thing that works. So I'm really, really looking forward to what's going to happen in this Community Gladiator. And we have 6 matches, 2 maps, and, well, more winners to see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Isolated, Blackout, you guys know exactly what it is. We'll run through all 6 games before we crown the top 3 teams. Game after game, I do expect to see a big shift. I'm not expecting to see a straight-out dominance from any squads out there, only because I want to see a lot of fun all throughout the day, right? I mean, I don't want to see anybody squished just yet, but do they stand a chance of walking away with some good money on the table? We'll have to wait and see, man, because as we bring the flight right through, it's going to be the frigid wetlands that ends up on our screens first off. Sanitarium, Black Market, pretty much everywhere on the map is wide open, but it's all about the high tier loot zones as well that we need some of these teams to aim for as well.
Well, let's see high tier loot zone right now, and from what we're seeing, we're going to potentially have a hot drop. And this is TMW right now. Oh, no hot drop. It's more of their teammates right now within the area. And we didn't see much of those within that vicinity. I was expecting that there will be someone in there. And I do agree why they are dropping in different parts of the map. Because we're talking about 16 teams. And Isolated is the smaller map compared to Blackout, but it's still big. But on the other side, we're seeing KM2 right now getting elimination and the trade-off as well.
Absolutely. Carl not stopping, managing to get the double for himself already. 2 eliminations in hand so far, and he's looking to pick up a little bit more. We need to check out some of this action on the other parts of this map, but Sanitarium is going to keep us glued in for the time being.
Well, this is insane in Sanitarium right now. Definitely a viewer trying to loot up in here, and also seeing that feed happen, because at some point you will be having a little bit of anxiety at this point, because there's a lot of points already being gathered on the other side of the map, and you're still in the beginning phase of your journey in Battle Royale. So one thing that I would say right now is, coming from Sanitarium, it is quite near to the middle of the map, and I'm really looking forward to how the rotation would be, because for some of the teams, they just go straight ahead. Like beeline into the middle of each phase of zone, and then that's where they get all those elimination.
Yeah, Sanitarium also a place that's quite safe for you to play in case you do get hot drop by any of the other squads. But in terms of loot, if you are not having to share the compound with anybody else, it does provide your squad with quite a little bit, right? Now, if you look at the potential of these teams walking away with a lot of money in their pocket, because obviously one part of the game is also going to be the new system that's been added in, the buy station. Not very new, but new for us old timers having to share the compound with anybody else.
I got hit real hard when you mentioned right now. But I do agree. There's a lot of things in here that has been, like from last time we saw it, there are a lot of changes, and also there's a few updates as well that did happen. So, hopefully not very new, but new for it's just time. But you know how excited players out there are for the community. Real hard when they want to get that patch. But I do agree. And has adjustment been quite strong because we saw it. Consistent, even from qualifiers up to the group stage.
Let's see exactly what League is up to in this situation like this. It's all about the loot in the earlier parts of the game, and I'm very happy to see that teams are very disciplined at avoiding each other for a great part of the initial stage of the game. It's all about the loot. It's all about preparing for the next phase of battle, because it is going to get more and more difficult as we go on in. Three players though taken out of the equation. It's very happy that still should be able to make it back in the competition on those other maps. Already been successfully eliminated. It's all about preparing for now.
Toxic over right now, and there goes Taco being taken down. Why? A little too quick. But with that, that is a great distraction now for the team. Because Rai is just in here waiting for an opportunity. And Liquid is also one part of that distraction right now. Over right now, and there goes Taco. Have one of the but you know the position. It's always on point.
One of those big fights that we were expecting a little bit later on, but a smooth move with the vehicle. ADMC actually managing to avoid the initial clash here. Looks like they're not going to get mixed up in a big fight just yet. Keep an eye on their opponents. One of those big fights far away, and I like this delivery coming through from the squad very early.
Airdrop has been delivered. Airdrop has been delivered. Airdrop has been delivered.
I would say it's like riding the waves of the map right now. But right now, Jeff also have talked.
Airdrop has been
and
delivered.
what they expect out of it. They don't gauge that fight. Airdrop similar to
Airdrop has been delivered.
The characters, they are just way up, and it's more of run preparation for
Airdrop has been delivered. Airdrop has been
and
delivered.
they have what better preparation. They don't gauge that fight.
Plays beside A.
Airdrop incoming. Airdrop has been delivered.
Engaging enemies.
Here, on the other hand, out in the open, very dangerous spot to be on as you are sniped. The shot will come on through, and the grenade finds him as well. Pain, the holder from afar, drops Sanji. And I knew there was a terrible intention to stay out in the open, but the thing still can be pulled off here by the rest of the team members. Very dangerous spot to be on as you are sniped.
Airdrop has been delivered.
The shot will come on through. And the grenade finds him as well. Pain.
And Sakura right now being spotted. Not tag just yet. And
Airdrop has
trouble
been
right
delivered.
now. Or on that high ground. Headshot.
Right back in
Time
here.
for a fire sale.
get to a safer spot, avoiding a lot of the initial engagements. Angie quickly getting off that high ground as well. As we catch up with either hole, I think stay clear of all of the initial engagements from under the grid like a troll. Carl on the other hand in the chopper, and I think they are on the hunt looking for avoiding a lot of few extra players to catch on to. Getting off that high ground.
Airdrop has been delivered.
Love the irony out of Ken Hart. That's where you see and then love. Not sure if you heard being a fighter. But that's what reminds me of IC Ken. All right. This is
Airdrop has been delivered.
Got absolutely annihilated. That's the main point here in our first game. And it looks like Common's getting a tad bit crouched here at the launch phase. High ground advantage. Grid. SMRS, do you get the shot in? Very cheeky for sure. Just jumping back. The rest of the team members on the side of AAA. I think it's a good decision here from Grid. Getting caught up there on that high ground. Getting not been a great idea, especially with one of the opponents had a sniper again. SMRS, do you get the shot in? It's great. Very cheeky for sure. Just jumping back. We are the rest of the team members on the side of AAA. I think it's a good decision.
A lot of risk engagement. What they're aiming right now is the phases of the circle, and they don't want to get in the middle just yet. They don't want to get in the middle of the fight. They just want to get into the earlier phases of the circle and wait for out of a compound right now. But from what we've seen, OK earlier was targeted.
Airdrop has been delivered.
They are targeting
Airdrop has been delivered.
and Foresight
Airdrop has been delivered.
and not so much of pressure on them. They're just chilling like a villain right on in the horizon. We might be seeing them engaging with 4 kings.
Yeah, I just spotted out the 4 kings there, and it looks like they're about to get into a little bit of a rough fight. Luki managing to take down the play on the side of ADMT, out of the equation already.
Airdrop
Still
has been delivered.
15 squads alive and kicking. Those revives can definitely be pulled right back through the moment they get their hands there on all of those dog tanks. But Tom beeps. Here comes the heroes on the side of 4K. It's been a while since I've shouted out the name of Rosa.
Yeah, I mean, this guy hasn't been in it for a very long time right now. And with Tom Beeps, Super Jeff as well. Yeah, especially that is one of the wonder kids we have in the Call of Duty Mobile right now from the Philippines, and he is still at it. But Tom Beeps has been taken down. Super Jeff and again now is going for payback, but they're not only dealing with one team.
Enemy
That they
eliminated.
are eliminated right now, and I'm really loving coming from 4 Kings. Silent in the beginning, but that's towards the end.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier on as well. Get the loots on your side and absolutely annihilate the chances of all of the other squads the moment you spot them out. And clearly, these players on the side of 4 Kings are looking to do exactly that, managing to get all of their weapons out of the custom airdrop as well. Now, Ivy on the opposite side. Let's see if or not manages to hit these wild shots from afar. He's the ninja, should be able to catch up with them real quick here. The snipes is not finding the connections just yet.
Okay. I mean, he's more of a CPC player. But light being backed up right now. DNR, but then the Marceline is always in there. And that's a means to survive. But Super Jeff did manage to take down White Omen. And that's an SMRS play coming from 4 Kings. And they have high ground as well. So the plan of 4 Kings right now is to take down those other teams on the other side of the terrain. And that's where to get that advantage. But Mirosa, what a hit against GNR Thirst. And there you go. Once a knockdown happens, moving in.
Oh, man. Tom Beeps just absolutely merciless there on the chase. And he's going to find himself one more. To be the right hit front, but get sorted out first. The Team 7 still does have an opportunity here. Mura
Airdrop has been delivered.
potentially bring their team members right back in, providing they can get through all of those dog tags in time.
Dog is their saving grace. Peeps right now. Nail peek. Happening. Tom against Tom Peeps. Rewind. Did save him. Almost being taken down, blown up. But now they have information. They have the treasure as well because they are running and there goes Super Jeff going in for that takedown. So Tom Peeps is just the hunter. He's the one who's trying to find an opponent and leaving the rest of the annihilation for the rest of the squad.
Yeah, no mercy for sure.
Fire
Needs
sale will
to
start in 1 minute.
quickly use those plates up quick though. Tom Peeps here all alone, far away from the rest of his team members, but smart enough to quickly catch up with them. And these guys are looking unstoppable at this point of time. I think they're gonna have a little bit of a field day here with the snowboards as well.
Airdrop has been
Call of Duty
delivered.
Mobile. It's one of those games where snowboard works everywhere, with or without the snow.
We just could just call it
Airdrop has been delivered.
You know what it is.
Airdrop has
If
been
you're
delivered.
bored, then it might be boring. So, sorry, AJ, I had to do that. But anyways, look at the
Airdrop
rest
has
of
been
them right
delivered.
now. Still, they're also placed in a different side, different areas of our ice plate right now, and then there's not so much of pressure other than those.
The scene is collapsed.
We were watching for
Airdrop
things,
incoming.
but man, that might be an FHJ right now. That might hit late.
Heads up, soldier. It's time for a fire sale.
Between ADMT as well as a few players, if not one player from GNL.
Okay, ADMP is in a lot of trouble here. They can cover GNR. This could be a quick end for them
Engaging
because
the enemy.
Sacred
Enemy
Ivy
down.
is
Enemy
on the road,
eliminated.
but it's the opposite. Is it high ground gives Ivy a big advantage, but as I said, Ivy in a lot of trouble. Caught up, got that knock, but not quite back down.
overload
The
deployed.
instant
Engaging
turnaround
the enemies.
by GNR. Sachi
Enemy down.
giving no room for recovery at all to the players on the side of 4K.
Well, GNL right now, two players being down. Okay, only top pips remaining, but Sachi pulls away. Probably no backup, or also planning to go in for that dog tag. But
yeah.
it's a 1v1 right now, and we've seen on the other side, Super Jeff is also waiting for that opportunity. So that's a threat that he needs to avoid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now Sachi very smartly backing away from that battle. 4K setting up a trap there with Tom Peeps being the one who was bait in that particular equation. Now Tom Peeps good rewind, quickly repositioning. I think there's not going to be a reshell here for Tom Peeps as he looks to make his way into the safe zone and gets there just in the nick of time.
Enemy eliminated.
Seeing a battle between Leap as well, and Tom Peeps revenge onto Sachi. Now, let's see if he'll be able to pull away. So earlier we only have Tom Peeps and Super. Now Rosa is coming back after so the survivability out of the team right here. But the problem is the moving away because there's still a lot of players within this area and probably not so much time, but the priority, as always, especially for the side of the 4 Kings, is those snowboard. Because in and out will be much easier.
Oh, now Travis, GNR snuffing out one player after the other on the side of ADMT. And it looks like another team is about to get annihilated, kicked out of the lobby. AAA on the other hand, with Showman putting on a show for us on the high ground. No eliminations on his side just yet. When are they going to start raking this in? They're getting to a point in the lobby where they can't run away, sneak and hide anymore. They have to take some big fights in a little bit.
Okay, this might be the greatest show right now, showing us that we don't need information just yet. The team doesn't have some but 4 Kings, 11 elimination. And there's still a lot, but Tom Pips, how do you know? Being taken down, the rest of the squad also being targeted, and Super Jeff, the only one remaining, is so many troubles around him.
Okay, Super Jeff looking to be on a little bit of recovery mission. Rosa looks like he will bleed out. No save there as Ivy confirms the elimination. Play with the SMRS. They are looking for the rest of the players on the side of 4K as well. Lead main now gonna fall victim to the GNR players. What a nade coming on through. Hasmu finds one of the Hades. And the Hades has definitely been lighting up the battlefield for sure. Camps again. Great nade. Klepsy taken out. Travis is SMRS actually find a player on the opposite end. Multiple bodies hitting the ground at the same time here as the circle forces these battles. What a nade coming on through. Hasmu
1 to 4, that the body is hitting the ground right now. It really matches. You can only count to 4 if that's a targeting. And speaking of target, it's Travis who took down Midas from Play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is Kingston for sure for Triple H here. Let me just step out of the Nova real quick, and there's a question, of course, on whether or not Triple H can take out GNR from this equation, but Ivy should be keeping an eye on them as well from the left-hand side. It is going to be very dangerous, and Red not waiting at all for that smoke bomb. He's going to lay it out, blocking away the shot towards his squad members from the opposite end. But it is going to be a tad bit difficult if he does not get to higher ground. Red still on this low ground, looking for an opportunity to backstab the players on the side of Leaf, who are really low. So if he actually just takes a few steps towards them, it could stand a big chance with an SMRs in hand.
You know, SMRS is deadly, but again, you don't think that there's not so much lead. The smoke has been triggered. I think he sensed that someone is on the left side, and he goes
down to the last fight.
At least they get that information, but they don't have great position just yet. Super Jeff on the other side, lays down the Kevs. Now Red has been a target by a different squad, and them in the middle is some trouble for Gino.
Like, we're gonna have a little bit of a mess here, because 8 more players still alive and kicking. 2 of them on the side of GNR. Travis is looking for 1, but Team Ivy has got 3 on that high ground. And outside the circle, Luki taking some damage here. Needs to quickly recover. On the other hand, Ivy not going in for the finisher just yet, allowing Luki to play that recovery. Very interesting move coming through from Ivy, who don't want to pull themselves out of position. And GNR can just take a fight up against Triple A, but Snowman showing up, wrong place, wrong time. Luki knocks him out, and Mr. Ninja gets up a little bit closer to the players of Ivy. Can he pull off this backstab?
Cito might be able to take down Virus. No, he dropped off on the other side. Blue's taking him,
The safe
but
zone is collapsing.
he's the only one who's moving that quickly. Luki is just distracted. And we'll chase him.
Getting
That
close
would
to
be a
victory.
bait and switch. That is happening. That will be happening to them. And Travis, but Travis the one who goes down first. And Sekre right now goes for that finisher. And Poison Ivy Dizzy giving us that first G on a victory.
And Poison Ivy definitely bringing the poison here in the first lobby. You got to respect what they did. High ground advantage, keeping information on their side. And they knew that they were being teased by the players on the side of GNR. And they played their timing really well in terms of landing right on the opposite side. And I think this is the kind of advantage that you should be taking for your side if you are one of the players out there, right? That high ground with the bird's eye view, definitely an undeniable advantage for a lot of these squads, Nephew.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, even before that battle, when the circle was a little bit bigger, we saw as well 4 Kings trying to deny or trying to remove Poison Ivy on one of the hard grounds away from that final circle. So we've seen a lot of teams has done this, and we know the intention as well when that battle began. But Poison Ivy just know how to play the angle, because even with Travis moving up and down, they just pull away, use that ridge, even prone, and then they're still in the clear. And that's why they have the more number and more chances of getting that victory.
But GNR wasn't too bad at all, right? I think they stacked up definitely more than 10 eliminations, about 12 to their side. We'll have to get the confirmation in a little bit from the leaderboard. But Poison Ivy, I agree with you. They had the advantage with the position, and it was all about the decision making as to when do they take that attack. And I really respect the fact that they were not being too cheeky with their approach, right? They weren't being too aggressive. They were really trying to stay out of trouble for the longest of time before taking the attack up to the opponents. Unlike what Four Kings were doing. Four Kings, I feel like they were way too aggressive. They did get a lot of eliminations, which we have to respect. The mechanical skills, beautiful as usual from the players on the side of Four Kings, but the survivability in Battle Royale, obviously very important. This time, Four Kings could not pull off a decent game because of that aggression.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one thing that is for sure right now is the moment that you lose sight of that survivability, you get a little bit more aggressive. And we've seen that for Four Kings. They got a lot of elimination from the early parts, but they put themselves in the middle. In most of being the target of most of the team. That is a deadly approach at that point. So let's see though, that's something that they can pull away from on the next game. Again, we're talking about 6 rounds in here, 6 matches, but we'll have to see though if this might change, because the next map definitely will give us a different strategy. But let's take a look onto the match rankings, and well, there you call it. AJ, Four Kings did have more than 10 of elimination as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Poison Ivy, Gizzy, right up there on the top with 24 points in totality with 14 eliminations. But again, Four Kings, right? Very aggressive, taken out of the lobby a tad bit too early. This is something that they have to watch out for. But if you really look at the grand scheme of things, they're not too far away from Poison Ivy, Gizzy, right? So just a little bit more of adjustments. And I think their aggression can definitely put them at the top if they do find these fixes. And if you really look, there's just been a tad bit of a change here. Apologies. And if you really look at where the teams who are at the bottom stand, TMW Assassin Main, KM2 Infernal, they definitely have to make sure they don't get into too much of trouble in this next game.
Well, let's see though. I mean, that's one thing. Some teams is really looking for trouble. We've seen that sometimes. I mean, trouble that they're into, it's more of adaptability on how they're going to pull away from that. Because at some point, even with the revive system that we have right now, all the problems that they're encountering, there's still a second chance. But it means, or it needs, that we have one player who needs to be alive towards that, towards their journey in that fight. But AJ, when it's his first round right there, I'm real sweaty right now from what we've seen.
Absolutely, man. The action has been non-stop. We are going to be taking a quick short break here, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's going to be round 2 out of 6. We'll catch you guys in a little bit.
gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Community Gladiators 2026 Season 2 Ascension, and we just witnessed and completed first round in Isolated. And so far, a lot of teams has started those engagement, but only a few that managed to end it. Battling this, I'm Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with my brother, the Musashi AJ, and he will be your casters all throughout the day.
Apologies, guys. I muted myself because I needed a cough earlier. What a hot game that was for that first matchup. I feel like things could have been a tad bit faster, but obviously these teams wanted to make sure they don't get eliminated too early, just like 4Kings. But if you're like 4Kings, and if you want to keep that aggression up, if you want to be harvesting all of those elimination points early on in the game, I think that's a fair approach and a fair strategy to execute out here in the grand finals as well, right? Really test your capability before playing it safe, because towards the end of the day, you won't be able to guarantee yourselves a lot if you just don't even know exactly how strong these other teams are going to be. Now, we've seen them clash with each other on other competitions already. They do know the strength of the other squads. Now, the biggest problem here is underestimating these teams in terms of their rotations, and I don't feel like the teams out here in Garena Call of Duty Mobile have really had their homework nailed out in terms of rotations just yet, Neptune. It still seems like they're just running wherever that circle leads them to and just fighting whatever battles that they get thrown on into. Very little bit of strategizing is going into it, but you know, it's not for all the teams. It seemed like Poison Ivy had a very simple rule: keep the high ground to themselves.
See, I mean, I'm really seeing a lot of a better strategy than compared to the others, and you did point it out that there's a few that's just chasing the circle, not so much of a strategic approach. It's just more of listening and then looking for their opponents, and that's where they start to engage. And we've seen that from some of the teams, one of which we were mentioned before our break was 4Kings, because they did engage a lot of teams out there, but the survivability is not that much. Thus, they only ended, well, they ended a little bit high, but in terms of how high you want to be that number one, because that has the most points.
Absolutely. And obviously, you know, they're going to be looking for those placement points as well. But we have always known that Garena Call of Duty Mobile, especially these teams from the Philippines, the biggest focus is those elimination points. Now, if you go all out a tad bit too early, but you don't walk away with the maximum number of placement points, you are going to be challenged in a big way. And of course, round one is a easy peasy game for Team Poison Ivy Geezy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they made everyone dizzy, and so with the movement that they have, with the position they have, and even like in how GNR was approaching us. They're just waiting for that opportunity on the other side of that ridge, and it's just unfortunate that they couldn't get high enough to go and take advantage of Poison Ivy. But let's see though, because our round number 2 will be in Blackout, and you know how it is. Not so much of those covers compared to Isolated, and also a lot of potential of the teams to use a sniper, or probably all those SMS or SMRS that would land when vehicles are involved. And we know for a fact that the Blackout is where to use those vehicles, because compounds are far away from each other.
Exactly. But as you try to get away, are you going to get locked down by a couple of those FHJs? I'm still wondering if or not, you know, some of those eliminations are going to be shown here on broadcast, because I've been waiting, man. We did see some of the grenade eliminations. Unfortunately, we could only get, because of the speed of that matchup, we could only see those eliminations come on through from the elimination feed, right? So this has got to be something that these teams focus on into getting a lot of those lethals. Those frag grenades are going to be crucial. We've seen a couple of those clusters come out for the play as well. But there are, of course, not every single team out there wants to play it aggressive, right, Neptune? Some teams just want to sneak towards that final circle, play survivability for as long as possible. And we did see a couple of teams walk away with that. I think GNR Esports Eternal was doing fairly well, but unfortunately, they got kicked out of the lobby even earlier than 4Kings.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, really. I mean, it's not so much of something that they can wish for, because they don't have the high ground. 4Kings right there was just aggressive. There's just a lot of... I think with the difference between these two teams is on how they group with each other, because GNR Esports Legacy is one of those squad or Eternals rather, is one of those squads who always stick together. And we've seen how well some of the teams or individual players, how those teams can manage themselves alone. And the confidence where it's coming from is them being revived even if they fail. So that's the threat, bro. I mean, if you have multiple utilities that you can throw at your opponent, and even those guns on the CQCs, there's more chances. I would say the odds is 1 to 3. So only one of you against 3 of them that can be taken down.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the teams are taking advantage of the fact that we do have dog tags in the game, right? And with those dog tags, you can definitely, quickly dog walk the rest of your team members back into the fight to take on the attack up against your opponents once again. But you obviously cannot underestimate the capability of the teams out there. We've seen a couple of situations in the past as well where, for the retrieval of the dog tags, we've seen teams get eliminated way too early within the lobby itself. So for the time being, Poison Ivy, of course, reigning at the top, not too far away from GNR Esports Legacy, well, about 5 points behind them. So this can be cut down just through those eliminations. You also see Four Kings looking for the catch-up. But as we check out map number 2, it's going to be Blackout. And the setup for this game is an easy one. What is the easy part of it? Go out there and be on the hunt. See if you can pull away as many of these points as possible for your
safe
squad.
zone is collapsing.
See now, we've seen teams already spread out all throughout this map, and this is what I'm talking about. Right? The moment that we see the squad in a battle, they have the vehicles, and you really need this. This is one good way to roam around the area of Blackout, but we're also seeing a few of those who's not roaming around. They're trying to take advantage of what they have right now to take down their opponent. And KM2 against OK, well, it's definitely OK because for some, they already have dog tags to pick up.
Safe and straight dragging everyone towards the firing range very early on in the game. Mancap just unable to sustain his battle against these players. Now, OK2, Mason down on the ground. Tonki's right behind him, is watching all of this action, but he's not going to interfere in the battle just yet. It looks like he's going to be making a dog tag play in a bit, but someone's about to visit him on that upper floor. Tonki is just sneaking around. Don't want him to give away the footsteps, but he's popped instantly by Why Not. Why Not, literally saying why not as he takes out the first squad from the game.
It's just unfortunate. The first squad, definitely not okay at that point.
Airdrop has been delivered.
M2 does have a target, and this is what we're talking about. FHJ being used right now. Vehicles are not safe. The Rev squad is also ready. They have been warned by LJ, and from what we've seen, they might be able to take advantage of this, but it's KM2's losing this fight. It's goes already down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Why Not? Careful in this engagement. Oh, beautiful defender. Flashes the living life out of his opponent. Takes advantage of a blinded opponent. But now, can he go in for the pickups? Not turn into dog legs just yet. Want to focus on Satanic potentially for the pickup, but he also understands that he might just be in a little bit of a danger. Satanic's crawling up against him. Pick me up, bro. He says, Why Not? Says, maybe later, brother. Satanic back up on his feet, and okay, maybe a little bit of an advantage here. MLK, on the other hand, playing recovery as well. That was an advantage that they could have taken. If Satanic was picked up a little bit faster, I think KM2 would have been able to snuff out their opponents already. But he was just playing it a little bit safe there. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Definitely.
Yeah, why not?
Well, Satanic right now. What? Imagine if Satanic did go for a rush and eliminate MLK. Probably some pressure of Why Not sitting there just asking for a revive. Let's take advantage of 2v1, and then that's where they will fight. But now, in the defense playfield with 2v2, trap has been triggered right now, and here comes Why Not trying to go in for no shots, and finally they managed to pull it off. Still have one more player to deal with, and a trap also triggered on the other side, and they will be tagged up. So Why Not? Not only is he losing HP, but he's also being fried by the zone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now the zone's going to be just a tad bit extra pressure here for KM2. But the problem is MLK is just not in a position to snuff them out just yet. Carl needs to back away. They're waiting to gatekeep the players on the side of KM2 on the other hand. Ivyho, yeah, very low on that HP. Is unable to recover just yet. And there might just be a little bit of pressure from the players right behind them. Ovo stepping on in. ADM main. This is trouble. Why not spot one? Pulls out the defender. Wrong timing. This could be the disadvantage for him. Satanic now moving on fourth. And he gets it knocked down, but the rest of the players are rushing at him. This could just be the end of KM2, but no! Satanic with a sliver of health, holding on for his dear life.
I mean, that's for Satanic. We're seeing blood potential from that moment, but unfortunately, the zone wins in that fight. I mean, it's not just DMW who managed, or it's not just KM2 who managed to get that, but also DMW who managed to capitalize off getting in there towards the latter part of that battle. But for GNR right now, only one elimination. They're a little bit far from the rest of the squad, which is a good start right here. Because from what we've seen earlier, even in isolated, they managed to pull off a few of those eliminations towards the latter part of the zone, and they did work with survivability.
As mentioned, that circle dragging us all into firing range. And this is about to get a tad bit messy. Yes, you did mention that Blackout is a huge map, which they need these vehicles to quickly just find the repositions on, looking for the next compound. But the moment they all find this next compound within the next circle, all of chaos is going to unfold, Neptune. 13 teams still alive and kicking. And if all of them do manage to survive until the next zone, I think we're going to have a little bit of a party on our hands.
Oh, let's see now. I mean, it's going to be tough right now. Let's see who's going to win. Probably who's going to enjoy that party. But over bike, well, Carl has a mission. And the mission is to survive, get into the next phase of the circle, and probably give it an opportunity for the rest of the squad as well to come back in this. But it's getting tougher and tougher right now. Because despite of this having, or like despite of the team having more chances of surviving or probably getting into the phase, into the safe zone, it's because of how far each phases is and how big the map is. The travel would really be grueling. And we've seen a lot of those SMRS, FHJs taking down the opponents. So there's really not so much of safe spot for these teams.
Yeah, you're right. Now, players on the side of Four Kings. The rules are finding up now from the side of ADMT. Taking them out of the equation real quick. Showman! Oh! Through his vehicle, but had to rewind as well to avoid engagement with the just unfortunately could not find the number here for having that rewind skill on their squad.
See now, if we can only rewind time to round number 1, probably they might have changed that result, but there's a chance for a new battle in Rosa right now. Ready, getting all those points. That's 2 elimination already for him. Hasbu has been tagged. And on the other side, it's Ge, who's making way and taking down Rin right here. And from what I mentioned earlier, between Four Kings and the rest of the squad, Four Kings is one of those who can handle themselves alone and not so much of a risk, because once one of their players, one of their teammates got knocked down and eliminated, there's still more chances for the rest to come back.
Yeah, man. Tom Peeps. I think he got taken down way too low on his HP, but trying his best to play a little bit of recovery here, calling for backup as well. And Super Jeff is on the way for the super takeover of this compound. Let's see if or not they get to pull this off, as Get has been turned into a little bit of a dog tag. The rest of the players on the side of 4K is slowly but safely approaching the situation. Triple A's right in front of them. And Super Jeff on appearance. Simidos just stood no chance. Storm Peeps with the distraction on that lower ground. And they just annihilated the play the moment they spotted him.
See, I mean, again, right there has been one of those crucial factors that brought that 8 elimination. ATMT! PSNA says postscript no more. That's NM definitely, because that's really tough for him. Trying to get away on the vehicle, but all of gunfire. They didn't even need an FHJ taken down.
Nah, man, they definitely didn't. Now Super Jeff and the Rosa going for A very quick reposition here. ADMT on the other hand, looking for a little bit of a reposition here and maybe some safe plays. S is on the way back in after getting the dog tag scan. And Anna just needs to hold the fort for the time being. Oh, Klona's not going to get picked up here. Dog tag expires. Up now, on the other hand, too far away. And it looks like Adamantium Esports Pyrite will have to play this with just 2 players by the looks of things.
Well, it's getting tougher and tougher with 4 already against 4. But, let's see, Rinka managed to take down one of their players. Now it's only Rendo for AAA Alpha. And Rin does have a vehicle, but similar to what we've seen earlier, they might be taken down. But let's move over to TMW. They do have one player who is a dog tag right now, but they are in a good spot compared to the other squad earlier that we've seen it's being taken by the zone. But the problem is everyone will be geared in towards the same area. So even if they don't hold a compound, hopefully they loot up enough to fortify that fort, and then that's when they can capitalize on the timing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the players of the side of GNR, everybody's in a vehicle, and they're looking for a quick reposition. Nobody's punishing their vehicle plays just yet, Cabs. Spotting a lone player out in the open, and Ivy Ollie just unable to do much there. Not even switching to a weapon. Just gets snuffed out instantly. Oh, that's the rewind. And James going to quickly reposition here, looking for a little bit of survivability up against Kevs. And GNR does not get another easy point, but very aggressive from the player. He gets hit by his own team members into the vehicle in style for the GNR player.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, I'm really loving that even their teammates can be hit, can be thrown back at this. Now, let's see though. They are looking for a better weapon or more of that vehicle to be used in this fight. But Kevs right now, he don't like the rest of the squad of GNR is pulling away. He says, I'm going back. I'm going to annihilate them. Just have my back layer if I'm in trouble. But with only 9 teams remaining, also a few more being taken down, and PSNA, after being revived, is now once again being taken down. It's from the hands of the 4 Kings.
And by the way, shout out to all of our watch party superstars right now. We've got a bunch of them. Leap Unbound, Leap Esports, we've got Icy Cadillo, we've got Dawn, we've got Wagner. We have got a ton of them on all of our watch parties. But the question is it going to be a party here in Blackout in a little bit? 30 players still alive and kicking them.
Well, let's see now. 9 teams and 30. Well, a few are being taken down right now, but from what we've seen, we have witnessed some of the teams just try to play onto the edge, but 4 Kings is one of those who tried to stick into the middle. And if they'll be able to spot out a good position, probably a high ground. They tried that earlier on the first round. But
oh my!
Goes in for a takedown, and even Tom Pips was a little bit too late from those shots. Now he needs to find different opponents to eliminate.
I mean, beautiful play by Tom Pips here. The pacing, the timing, beautiful from him. Now he's going to just go in to close down the distance here between himself and the rest of the opponents. ADMT bumping into their own clan members, but no mercy, and 4K's gas steals away the eliminations. Talk about a little bit of a third-party action. ADMT doesn't even get to prey on each other. 4 Kings getting the job done.
Yeah, I mean, they're not only getting the job done, they're cleaning house. 16 elimination already. We still have 7 teams remaining. And look at that. I mean, compared to the earlier battle that we've seen in Isolated, they're more in a tight group right now. Not too far from each other, and I guess the communication is much better as well. We're in Isolated, everyone was just aggressive. Like, I go for a 1v2 and then end up being taken down. But now, look at the way they're moving this time towards TMW.
Yeah, absolutely. 16 eliminations, like you said, Nep, and they are not slowing down at all. Tom Pips, another opportunity for him, and Narosa combo with Tom Pips off of the grenade. They are cooking anybody they come across. Looks like these boys are absolutely hungry. Tom Pips picks up another one for the squad, making it a total of 21 eliminations in the second game. We talked about how aggressive 4 Kings are, And it looks like they just want to amp it up even further.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, they are bringing a lot of those. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just putting myself in their shoes right now. After a failure of getting that victory in the first round with a lot of elimination, I think this is where they are trying to balance those out. So if they can beat Poison Ivy, even before the end of this game, in terms of numbers, then that's where they will have the advantage of taking the #1 spot. And this is the target for everyone. Just take that #1 spot every round until the end, and you will be the champions.
Absolutely, man. Now, in the earlier game, we definitely did see a distance that was not impossible for Four Kings to catch up with. 16 points to 24 that Poison Ivy Gizzy pulled away. I think the catch-up is completed right on this match in itself through those eliminations. Question is, how much further can they run away from this squad?
Engaging the enemy.
You've got the players on the side of GNR a little bit split up on the battlefield. Sachi too low. And Four Kings not think twice to take advantage of that fact. Just spotting and instantly going in for the delete as well. 3 more players alive and kicking, and gets it. That's all mine. 10 eliminations for this Wonder Kid already. Light now lit up by Super Jeff. And Four Kings are just not pulling any stops whatsoever. They're going in for the shutdown. Ashy tagged up from afar, and Get just not giving him any bit of break whatsoever. And Travis managing to find Roy on the trade as well. And GNR managing to sneak away that point at the very least.
Now, there's trouble because earlier there's a few of the players in between GNR and Four Kings. But since though they have been deleted, it will be the battle of, I would say, 2 giants in this competition. So Four Kings against GNR. Luki has already made help on taking down Tom Peep. So that's 1 man down, and we'll pick up. Will the pickup be done right now? Holy smoke, or Smoke Bomber will be able to make that work, but elimination being done by Travis and Luki, making sure that they don't have to deal with more of Four Kings later.
Oh, big opportunity here for GNR. Take them out, says GNR. And that's exactly what they do. Luki and Kev's down on the ground. Travis and Red, though, looking for the annihilation onto Narosa. And it looks like GNR are going to find that backstab. And they pull this off in a phenomenal fashion. GNR Esports Legacy setting up themselves for success through this matchup.
And once again, the Four Kings has been denied of getting that victory. But one thing is,
man,
like the number of eliminations they have has already overtaken the total points of Poison Ivy earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And with that alone, I think that's a good start for them. A good, not really start, a good second game for them. But for GNR Esports Eternal, well, look at that. I mean, it seems like they are on their own, and they're in the same phase of our theme right now. They're ascending in there, and they're going Eternal.
I mean, this is exactly what I was looking for. The kind of chaos, the kind of action. I mean, I was definitely expecting a lot of pressure coming through from Four Kings. But for GNR Esports Legacy to be able to snuff them out, I think, just a slight misplay from Four Kings. They were too spread out. I think the confidence became a little bit of overconfidence there since they were cooking the lobby with so many eliminations. But you also have to look at this from another perspective. Four Kings, they cooked up a ton of eliminations, and therefore they did not need to worry about, not walking away with a maximum number of placement points from that lobby, right? Yeah. They went all the way. They did not take that #1 spot in the lobby, but they sure as hell will be able to crawl up to the top of the leaderboard after that phenomenal action on Blackout Neb.
Yeah, imagine. I mean, earlier they did get 16 total points, and with additional of 20 plus in just elimination, being second place, an additional 6 of that, it's just a huge jump coming from the squad. So I might be looking at this wrong. Everything that they're doing, it might have been calculated, because the number that they're bringing in might be close enough. If not, as you called it, might bring them to the #1 spot.
Absolutely. So, but it really doesn't matter even if they're not at that #1 spot, right? Because they have shown us their capacity, their capability in terms of pulling away elimination points. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you look at the Philippines, the Philippines really does not like following the rules from a perspective of I have to be on the #1 spot to end up in that #1 spot by the end of the day. Because if you do the math really well, just these eliminations through stylish plays gets you to the top. And that's exactly what Gare and Squad are looking for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been watching these players for so many years now. And through all of the years, they've shown us one thing, that they know how to run circles around everybody else as they climb up to the top. It's GNR Esports Legacy that got the victory here on Game 2, but it is 4Kings that celebrate that #1 spot after rising to the top.
So that's 25 total elimination plus a 6th placement point, 31 in total. And what? I'm doing a little bit of quick math right here. 47 together with the 16 that they had from the earlier game. Now I'm looking for Poison Ivy Gizzy, and they're down low. So it seems like 4Kings might be able to overtake them. The same goes with GNR.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, you look down at the bottom, Leap Main still haven't really been able to pull away much from these lobbies at all. Now, they got to make sure they hop on in and look for some big points here in the final 4 games. I think they've missed out too many already. Team Okay Fine, why not? I love their name. Okay Fine, why not? We joined in here. We've gotten into the top 16 already, but can we continue to climb or not? They say, you know, it's okay, it's fine with us, you know, even if we don't, it's absolutely all right. But why not try, right? Why not? Too many why nots in there. ADMT main as well. I think Neptune, they have just made a couple of too many mistakes on those rotations. The gunfights are not as strong as we wanted to see them, but it's just the first 2 games of the day. We've got 4 more lobbies to go. Climbing up the leaderboard is not going to be impossible. But if teams like Poison Ivy Gizzy, GNR Esports Legacy are not careful, 4Kings are going to run away with the grand finals #1 spot if they do not step up their gameplay, because the aggression from these players are just unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, after getting that victory earlier, we were expecting, and only getting 2 points out of round number 2. We're expecting them still on the top, but the lead was just huge enough for GNR to, I would say, equivalent to 1 game, or if we average everyone's points. I'm not talking about like 4Kings and GNR Esports Legacy's points, because from what we've seen, that is an offset of what we have been witnessing for the other teams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, this is great. And first 2 rounds, Gizzy pulling away the first one, and we just saw GNR Esports Legacy pull away the second. So not a single #1 spot for 4Kings in terms of placements from the first 2 games, but they are #1 in many, many people's hearts, and they are #1 on the overall leaderboard because their players just know how to cook on the battlefield. It's very impressive, Neptune, that 4Kings gets to split up, play such a dangerous angle solo on their runs most of the time, and still walk away with so many confident elimination points. And still towards the end, they still have got a full squad because of how capable they are in terms of playing recovery on those dog tags. I mean, it's been very impressive so far, 4Kings.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that's one reason as well why we have them mostly in our feed, especially in game number 2, because they are the ones ranking up and farming all those points. And it's the speed as well. We've seen the speed not only in the movement, but the speed of them eliminating the squad. Though there's like, because of the revive system that we have in Call of Duty Mobile, there's more potential of them grabbing and farming more points if they leave at least 1 behind. But they don't want to deal with them earlier, because later, because from what we've witnessed, when there's a lot of squads surrounding them, especially with small circles involved, that's where they have trouble. Even in the 4v4, they are having trouble. So why give them an opportunity?
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, they are not farming. They're just going out to annihilate everyone they come across, regardless of who it is. Even in one of those situations, we actually saw a little bit of, I wouldn't say infighting. It was 2 separate groups taking on each other, but from the exact same clan, right? But it was the point stolen away by Get, if I'm not mistaken, in that situation. That just shows us how, you know, dominant the players on the side of 4Kings are, because he was all alone as the third party in that situation, and he just worried. You know, he did not have a single worry in his heart as he hopped on in there. because of the teamwork and the backup that he knows he'll receive from the rest of the brothers on the side of Four Kings. So very impressive so far. But this competition is not just about the Four Kings, but they are forcing us to talk about them because of all of these phenomenal plays, man. I wonder, oh my lord, what kind of a flight path is this?
Well, this is my favorite kind of flight path because even
Holy
if they
Lord.
have a specific area on the map right now that they want to drop into, everyone will be forced to go against each other. So from what I'm seeing, they might be forced into farm right now, probably a little bit of bus station, but most of the squad is heading into northern part of the area, especially with a snowboard available. There's a few of those helicopters that they can play with right now, but those who want to head into dormitory, well, they will be cut short. And they might be meeting up a few of those contenders ending into the middle of the map.
Absolutely, man. Now, let's see exactly what this game is going to be bringing forth for all of us. Oh, man, the circle straight away going to be putting a bunch of these squads in a fix, leading everybody in for some big battles. And ZH Conquerors will be the biggest blessed ones, splitting here both on Raider base as well as the compound right beside it for some extra bit of loot. You got to respect the fact that they are very confident out here on Raider base and Harbor, since no other teams have dropped anywhere close to them. And that's the kind of cheese strats you want to see from some of these squads, right? Going in here for a split drop when you confidently know nobody else is close enough to you, but they cannot be taking advantage of their positioning and the fact that they are alone for too long. I'm very sure these rotations are going to be quite swift from these other teams.
Well, let's see now. We have GNR, we have Thirst, Ashi, Sachi, and Light in there. Now, for ADMT, you did mention that it's just unfortunate for them because they didn't get that much points earlier. But there were a lot of engagement that they were part of. And they're not really capitalizing on those eliminations just yet. I don't know if it's just them warming up, but because it's like everything's running a little bit too fast, especially for those teams like Four Kings, GNR Esports, even Poison Ivy, who's fired up already in this game, not making it easy for some of the squads to catch up, especially if we look at the leaderboard on the right-hand side of the screen. The bottom half has a long way to go before they catch up on the top 5.
Absolutely. And it looks like Ashley's just going to find an easy one off of the game 2 player. GNR again off to a fantastic start here for themselves. But this is not GNR Legacy. This is GNR Eternal. Another lineup from the GNR clan that just is looking to prove themselves out there. But they'll have to pick up quite a number of points before they can catch up with the performance of Legacy. As you can see, the distance between the teams of Four Kings and GNR and the rest of the competition is quite a huge one there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm really looking forward to them really recovering out of this because it's getting tougher and tougher right now as time goes by, as a round goes by. And some of the teams are, I would say that for teams like GNR Esports as well as Esports Legacy as well as Four Kings, time is just something that they're playing with. For the rest of the squad, time is running out. So and this is a strength. This is a threat in this competition. If this continues, imagine already 40 points and the rest is still on the, 20s, on not even reaching the 20s, then they might be having this back even if they fail one round.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. M12 Carl down on the ground, bleeding out, looking for help. Gonna get picked right back up here. And the players on the side of Leap right in front of him. Payne is facing some vehicle problems as he hits himself right into a tree. But the situation is definitely dire here for M12 Sin Main. The players are all alone and out in the open up against Leap, who are looking to leapfrog over them with these points. And Carl has not been caught out just yet. Haspu's being very careful here. Carl could definitely walk away with one elimination if he's a little careful on this engagement, but maybe some assistance from a third party here from T. Okay, fine, why not? And okay, fine, why not is actually going in for elimination, but they are the ones who are getting cooked. Unfortunate. Do they get to turn things around is the big question.
Well, as for right now, Definitely,
Oui.
they might be bound. Leap Unbound is trying to get position. And there goes Gelong. Not so much that he can do at the moment. Same goes for Angie. So I guess they would say it's just okay. But they need to move away. Otherwise, Tonki will be eliminated. And that might be the final player of that team. And Leap Unbound. So far, out of the two Leap teams that we have one that is leaping a little bit higher.
Yeah. I mean, in that situation, it was just, okay, fine. And then they chose to run away, right? It was like, okay, fine. We got to fight you. But Leap, man, what a play. I think on the defense, they got ambushed and they just handled that situation so well, forcing their opponents out of the equation very quickly. And team, okay, fine, why not, has to just make sure they don't get into such trouble anymore. But the question is, can they bring their team members right back in here? Those dog tags are very close to the Leap players.
Arsenal's already being set up. Hopefully it does land on the ground. But look at some of the teams. The flight path is following the circle. The flight path, or rather the circle is following the flight path that we have earlier. So that's a skewed flight path, and the circle has a huge shift. Those who are hanging in docks right now might be in trouble because the moment they take that zip line towards downtown, some of the teams might be positioning themselves already in that area. And Raider Base is where all those weapons is available. And then once they're looted up, they hang into downtown, and a lot of targets can be taken out.
Absolutely. Four Kings looking for the hunt on AAA Alpha. And it looks like they might just be able to catch up to them. Will the Four Kings be able to continue their annihilation streak as both squads heading straight in for Sanitarium? And it looks like they have managed to very quickly disengage from their opponents. So good on them.
Well, see now on how long they will be taking advantage of that better position. Now look at the docks right now. I mean, yeah, there's still a few lands that they can work with. If they have a vehicle, they can head into standoff, take that bridge, go into that northern island. But I don't think anyone would be making it that easy, especially with the number of teams that we have in here. But one good thing for team from those teams who have those choppers, who have vehicles that can go across those islands, then they can move quite easily. But from what we're seeing right now, it's Four Kings once again. But the only difference this time is they're not aggressive. Probably this is their weakness, isolated.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A little surprising. I was expecting more from Four Kings in this game, but I think they're just looking to be battle ready, right? And I think at the start of this broadcast, that's one of the things that we talked about, Neptune. Avoiding the engagements early, looking for the loot, making sure you've got the right guns, especially from the custom airdrop. You want to get your comfort weapons before you go out looking for those numbers. And that might be something that the Four Kings players are focusing on. And I think that is the veteran strategy in a lobby like this. But let's see exactly how the rest of them handle the situation. We've got TMW Assassin main. They have not been assassinating anyone so far, so I've got a problem with the name.
Let's see. They're not living into They're not living into the name right now. But you did mention that at this point, Four Kings is not bringing a lot. But our watch party is bringing a lot for the Four Kings. Let me give a shout out. This is a long list right here. It's out of Four Kings, we have Sint, Upsori, Holy Father, Tokyo, Remy, Yato, Negi, Renzu, Akaza, Fright, Winter, Instinct, Vanta, Bulati Gaming, Osus, Imzone, Charlene, San Pedro, Doxy, and M. Eldora. All those part of Four Kings are on a watch party.
Sangala, that is so many, bro. Is Four Kings a family or is Four Kings a nation? Four Kings looks like a country on its own.
Yeah, I mean they're bringing the kingdom. There's a kingdom of Four Kings.
Oh yeah. Holy mama. I wonder how many kings the kingdom of 4K has.
I don't know.
Because the list that you just read out to me all sound like kings.
Well, there are some queens.
Okay, some queens. Some queens. Apologies. Don't come after me, all right? Lots of kings. Definitely lots of queens out there as well. Four Kings might need to rename their brand after this. The Four Kings and Queens. But, you know, at the end of the day, the clan is insane, man. Not just on the leaderboard, but with so many of their superstars on these watch parties. I wonder if they're having fun watching their players stomp on everybody else. But will the stomping continue here? Because in this third game, Four Kings have not shown us their supremacy just yet. But I'm pretty sure they will be showing a little bit of that in a little bit.
I don't know. Probably they were just tired getting and farming all those elimination earlier. That was a lot that they brought into Blackout. But there's also the storyline of Isolated because of over familiarity with everyone in this map, and everyone just knows how to get in and out to battle, especially in this kind of circle wherein they were forced to move away from the usual draw spot. There you have it. I think Four Kings managed to go in for that shot through the window, through the wall, and now will they be able to make it out of Black Market unscathed?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let's see if or not the Four Kings will be able to start picking up those big numbers, because 3 eliminations in hand so far is definitely not enough if they want to maintain dominance on this day. MLK, Umbra, Mortis, keeping an eye on them. It's the battle between MLK as well as Four Kings. Storm Peeps just making sure he's not going to get caught out anytime soon. Just making sure he stays well hidden as he takes the vehicle out of the compound. Hasbu, on the other hand, for the side of Leap Unbound, staying safe with that high ground. MLK, Carl, don't be sneaky. Look at those shots coming on through, but he will not find any of those connections. And on 3 eliminations, they'll stay.
I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher. Tom Peeps.
What a parking.
I mean, he parks better than me. But let's see.
He treated that like his personal garage. And the rewind hit here by Tom Peeps. Sneaky, sneaky play. And he calls for a little bit of backup. The rest of his brothers are on the way as well. And Four Kings about to light up the battlefield by the looks of it. Conan, on the other hand, will find Roik. And that's a battle that's going on off screen as well, as the circle will force a lot of these engagements, whether you like it or not.
Well, let's see. Neroza right now. Not so much of work. And Triple A Alpha. Let's see if Showman can give us a great show right now, because it seems like they will be out of showing in this fight. A lot of teams has been forced already in the northern part or in the western part of the map, and even the crossing of downtown was trouble for them. Standoff was open earlier. A few teams did try to take advantage of that, but now everyone is in the same spot, or almost in the same spot. Then this is where we see those body drop even more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Those bodies are about to hit the floor a tad bit more here. And as Leap and Bound looking for a quick reposition out there on the battlefield, they'll have to do this nice and quick, because the circle's about to get a tad bit more heated up. Lian, 22 HP. Can you survive is the question. Shots from up above. And it looks like Leap Main is about to lose one of their main players here. Conan circles around, puts the rewind instantly. Could have gone in there for the knockdown, but I think he did not expect to see so many players right behind those containers.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a bait and switch being done by Leap. Now, will they be able to take a huge leap in getting those eliminations in? Because TMW right now, in spite of them failing a few instances, now they are prime and they have better position. The only threat that is against them would be those coming in from afar who have a huge chance of sniping them down. Speaking of snipe, here comes Get right now on the sniper. They have great elevation and a lot of covers as well, just in case they are in trouble.
TMW, Assassin Main. Yes, not assassinating much just yet. But if you look on the other side, Leap Unbound, 10 eliminations in hand already. Just collecting those numbers to climb up the leaderboard for sure. MLK, Watoman down on the ground. And it looks like the recovery is going to be tough. Four Kings still on 3 eliminations.
Well,
looks like it's a little bit of a slower map for them for sure, like you said, Neb.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not looking good at that point. Now, there's a huge chance that Neroza might be able to spot them, but unfortunately timing was off. MLK, and I'm loving survivability coming from MLK. I mean, they have been targeted and hunted a lot, not only by Four Kings, but also a few of those squads, and they are are in this spot. They're still surviving, and little chance for them to be taken out that easily. But Sekre right now, and that might be it. But unfortunately, Nerosa has been tagged by AAA's Midus.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, Nerosa just out in the open there, got punished by Midus. Let's see if Get can pull back some numbers here for the squadron, taken out of the equation. Nerosa cannot be brought back at this point of time. Super Jeff, Tom Peeps, as well as Get looking for the big numbers, though, this time round. Can they pull it in for the squad? Tom Peeps, good rewind. Trying to disengage here from Rinka, but Rinka dropped down. And Amidus finding Tom Peeps. Get still keeping the squad up here as Amidus gets traded out by the one and only Get. Now, two final players here left on the side of Four Kings. Super just fighting Tom from afar. And it looks like HRA will be able to recover. Oh, no. They get snuffed out instantly. There's no recovery when it's Super Jeff on the opposite side.
Well, also, third parties happening, and they're stealing away those elimination out of Four Kings. But now, they're slowly ranking up. Compared to earlier games in Isolated, this is too slow in terms of those. But position-wise, they have better. If it wasn't for Tom Peeps and Nerosa being taken out of this, they might have taken a few more. But now, they're being cautious. Poison Ivy, once again, the high ground domination, and this is where they got that victory on game number 1.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And it looks like the players here on the side of Assassin Main need to be a tad bit careful. And Imzone, I love you, bro. Thanks for doing the watch party, Imzone. Okay, there you go. None of the rest of the... And Get looking for yet another one for the squad. MJ. But just could not pull away a knock just yet.
Well, let's see now. There's a lot of problems right now being dealt with by GNR. But Leap, MJ... they need to go for a pickup on Nard. Now Hasbu is in trouble, not even recovering those HP just yet. Even Slash has been taken down. Now, will Leap be able to make this work? Not so much of chance with smokes being released right now so that they can go for a pickup. But look at that, trying to capitalize and gun them down from those smokes.
Yeah, Get is insane, bro. I mean, he's just taking all of those shots all alone and he's actually getting some big knocks off of these players. Now, Leap still in trouble because the Super Get is up against him and the one and only Super Jeff is right behind him as well for that backup. Two more players left here on the side of Four Kings. Pulls out the defender. I don't know if that was a tad bit premature, but at least they have a little bit of cover on the right-hand side as well. Super Jeff lining up those nades. Sekre, on the other hand, Gizzy will be able to find a player from the side of Assassins. And DMW Assassins still not assassinating many players out there.
Oh, let's see if they can assassinate this time around. 5 teams remaining at that point. And Leap has a lot of those. But even higher would be Poison Ivy. And Lay managed to take down one of the players. That's PJ from TMW. Now, Conan, though, hiding in the corner. Not spotted just yet. So let's see if that is a chance for them to go for survivability. But Gag goes for snipes. And Poison Ivy losing player. Only Sekre remains.
How? How is Get still getting eliminations? These guys should have been taken out already. Get and Super Jeff split up on the battlefield. Ivy trying to take them out of the equation. And it looks like Poison Ivy, guys, he is looking for yet another lobby victory. Whoop. And here comes the clusters, but another defender just a few feet behind where the first one was for Super Jeff for the super defense. And nobody's able to touch them just yet. But will he get ambushed? That's the question. And it looks like nobody dares to take on Four Kings out in the open, even though they are all alone split up.
Yeah, I mean, that is a threat that we have right here, especially for a Wonder Kid Get. We've seen his prowess. On the long range, probably not so much. But the moment that he baits them in, and that's where he can deal with them on the CQCs. But, like, the combination of these players right here is just one distraction and one finisher. Now, let's see if that would work. Because for side of Leap, it is a trouble time. Only 2 remains for this squad, but Poison Ivy is even more troublesome later on because they're still alive, not engaging, waiting for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, Poison Ivy looking for yet another lobby victory to climb up the leaderboard. They had 26 points earlier. We did mention that they had to play catch up with the Four Kings, and with the number of eliminations they have gotten here for themselves this time round, they might be able to do that. Super Jeff lit up on the battlefield this time round. And Lei will not show any mercy whatsoever. Leap, though, looking for the victory up against Ivy. Haspu will light Ray up on the battlefield, and it's now all up to MJ.
Hell, MJ right now, will he be able to do it? And there you have it! He managed to take down Ge, and once again, the Four Kings has been denied, and Leap Unbound gets that victory.
Yeah, Leap Unbound. Very impressive this time around. And, you know, this is the situation where you want to look for out there on the battlefield again and again. If you're a team like this, get to that final circle, pull away those big numbers, and obviously that's going to get you up the leaderboard a tad bit, right? But how do you deny the championship from a team like Four Kings, man? These guys are survivors through the truest sense. They have gotten the eliminations on the previous lobbies already, and even though they were low in numbers for the aggression this time around, they were still putting on so much of pressure on teams like Leap. So fingers crossed the other teams do not allow this one to continue, because I've got no doubts whatsoever. If they do, Four Kings is going to run away with this one, even without getting a single lobby victory.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just that they don't want a victory just yet. They don't want a lobby victory just yet. But because of the threat that they are bringing to the table right now, they might take this on a high, like their name on higher part of that board. But we've seen the usual suspects, even in the final in the final circle. When we're talking about isolated, there's always a threat of Poison Ivy taking a high ground. And look at that, even in this highlight, even earlier, they're always on the high ground, always on the lookout of opponents, and made it difficult for some teams to even get close to that final circle. So another threat, but in terms of numbers, I think isolated is the only, at this point, only chance that they're getting to make it work.
Absolutely, man. I mean, what a great game this time it was from Leap, because they definitely needed to leap quite a bit into the upper parts of our leaderboard after two games where we didn't really see a lot of points from these squads, right? I mean, the brand has got two teams in here within the lobby of 16 squads. But climbing up obviously was going to be difficult when you have got the best of the best in MYSGPH out there in these lobbies. But they did fairly well this time around, surviving such a massive map like Blackout. And, you know, this is what such a massive map like Isolated. This is something that we definitely wanted to kind of like drill down into in terms of which teams can really avoid a lot of these initial engagements, initial, aggression, and look for the points towards the end. I thought it was going to be a team like Four Kings that pulls it off. But Leap, on the other hand, showed a very different perspective towards this, right? They're like, no, Mustachio, we are not going to play this patient. We do not have time. We've already lost two opportunities. We're going to go all out. And surprisingly, it worked out like magic for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. If you have motivation, first is the motivation of not getting that much. And then later on, a motivation of moving in closer towards the better opponents right here.
Yes.
And it did happen most of the time in Isolated. So I'm really loving that there's a lot of changes, a lot of adjustment. And not only a few teams, well, earlier it was two teams who's taking it home, but not only a few teams who's taking the top of the board. Because if I'm not mistaken, the lead that we had with GNR and the ones following them, I think it's Poison Ivy, was around 20. But out of Isolated, we have the Four Kings is not doing that much, but at least they're getting on those placement points, and some squads who's really catching up. So the gap between them slowly is reducing, and there might be a turnaround that might be happening later on.
Yeah, I'm just a little surprised that Four Kings were just not as spicy as their play on Blackout earlier, because we did see, even in the first game, it wasn't their best matchup. They just played recovery on that Blackout map. And here, back on Isolated, you see a little dip in performance once again, but they were trying, right? We saw many of those situations where they were finding their shots connecting, they were finding those knocks, but the recovery from the opposite squads have just been phenomenal. And that's what you got to look out for as well. The recovery gameplay when you go up against a team like Four Kings or, even Leap in this particular map, how do you play a little bit of defense? How do you get away from these engagements? We saw the defender perfection out of the Four Kings plays quite a number of times already. The smoke bomber has been keeping some of these guys safe. It's just those utilities that you have to play to your team's advantage there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can use your utilities, if you can use your operators right there in perfect timing, I do agree with the defender right here. Even from the last time we casted, we've seen a few of those. Defenders. But this time around, I think we're going back years, like rewind years back into the earlier days. And now we are seeing so much of those usual operators going back. But Leap Unbound taking the top of the board, and Poison Ivy still managed to get a lot more of elimination.
What a play, man. 20 eliminations for Poison Ivy, guys. This time around. 25 points. They climb up the leaderboard. Just 5 placement points, but the eliminations just kept them super spicy up at the top. But you know, this is exactly what you need to do if you want to make sure you catch up in Four Kings, or potentially even rip away the #1 spot from them, right? And now at the top of the leaderboard, we're definitely going to see a little bit of a shift. But Leap Unbound, this was their recovery game. This was their best showing for the day, and I hope this is something they can continuously show us. GNR Esports legacy this time around, 10 eliminations, 2 placement points. I think that's not enough, Neptune, but at least they're still showing that their aggressive side hasn't gone to sleep just yet.
Well, let's see. I mean, a lot of teams has been sleeping, especially when we look at the right side of a leaderboard, but switching over to that top of the board. Four Kings still on top, and JNR Esports is slowly catching up. But look who managed to pull through. Poison Ivy Gizzy with that a lot of elimination. That 20+ points is now reduced to less than 10. And with that victory, Leap and Bound is also in the running.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And now I do have a feeling like this is not going to be the last that we see out of the Leap teams. Obviously, Leap Main did very, very well in that lobby. I wanted to see more from them, and they definitely showed us a lot more of what they're capable of. But the question is obviously going to be whether or not they can make sure they continuously climb the leaderboard in such a heavy lobby where you don't have many more opportunities, Neptune. You've only got 3 more games to go, and I feel like some heavy point lifting needs to happen out here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're already halfway through today. 3 of the matches are already done and dusted, and 3 more. Though the ending of our the entirety of our day today is quite different, because we end in Blackout, and looking at the pattern of how the teams are, there's just so much potential for some who can take advantage, capitalize on that final map towards the end, even if it gets close. I don't want to point out a name anymore because it has been repetitive already. I want you to show us, I want the teams to show a different flavor to that later on. I want them to break the pattern, because at some point those patterns can also be their downfall, because they can be spotted because of the rotation as well as how they're playing in specific maps.
Absolutely, man. I feel like, you know, you are right. We've screamed out Four Kings way too many times already, but it's very difficult to not shout out their name when they are so dominant out here on the battlefield, and they've got their whole kingdom right behind them in support, right? Even if they don't walk away with the championship, I think they have definitely walked away here many a times as one of the most popular squads because of the love that they're getting from all of their fans all around the world. But this time, Leap jumps into the conversation. They have leapfrogged their way in here on this game number 3 at the halfway point of our day, Nep.
Well, let's see now. We have 3 rounds already done. 3 teams getting that victory, and 3 more to go. Now we're going back to Blackout, and let's see who's going to be beaten black and blue, because out of flight path right now, a lot of engagement might be starting off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a situation where the whole map is going to be open for the play here as the teams leap into battle.
Well, let's see now. I mean, the leap is a little too hard right now, especially if you have a lot that might be waiting. But looking at where they are heading, that Dam would definitely be taken by a lot, especially estates, because this is the area where most of those snowboards will be available. But construction site has been one of us that had that one of the spot where in ranked games, this is where they go in for those early engagement. But I'm quite surprised when it comes to competitive scene, no one wants to risk it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see if or not the risky play here of squads like Leap Main as well as HRA Omura will pay off.
Ooh.
It's a hot drop. And it looks like Leap might be able to pull away some big points here. MLK in a similar situation. Carl finds why not. And things have gotten a tad bit more heated here for KM2 out there on the battlefield as well.
Well, see, I've seen Gian just walk just below of one player's off KM2. Now, I think they heard the footsteps. What? The speed, the quickness. Will LJ be able to get away? Down in the open, through the door. Carl points and shoots, but that pillar saves him, even the corner. What a hide-and-seek player LJ is, but what can you do with more players of MLK trying to chase you down?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And if they continue to do this, they're going to be able to find some big numbers. Lina unable to walk away from that one, and Carl on the chase. More loot. Sliding in to make sure his team member does not get everything from the crate.
Well, Sharon, like, as you say. Let's see now.
Absolutely.
We have a few players from TMW. Again, TMW Assassins. Though they're not really getting that much assassination happening, but they're slowly moving up into leaderboard, and it's more of balance of both. They do have a few of those elimination, and I think they're following Leap and Bound as well. So the passive approach coming from them, just like going in and choosing your battles right there, is also a good play. But as we called it, halfway through, time's running out. I think it's time for them to be aggressive, and TMW might be able to do so. But a gun nade onto scene. I see M12 right now might be taken out.
I see you out there, and it looks like I'm going to take you out the moment I see you. Beautiful stuff so far. And it looks like they just need to amp up the pressure a tad bit more, because TMW Assassin Main, they are not too far away from jumping into the top 3, but they will need to really bring out the numbers here if they want to make it in there. And 25 points obviously is going to be decent for them on the catch-up here off of this next match. If we can see a little bit of an extra performance. Ace sprayed out. Beautiful plays here, as Aspect will get quite a number of tags onto him. And it looks like Gladzilla will not be able to get to his opponent in time. I believe there was a little bit of a switcheroo there. Conan, on the other hand, for the side of TMW, just clear of a lot of the initial parts of the game where these rest of the squads have gotten into many scuffles that I don't think they're intending to get into.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting tough right now to get away, especially with the shift of the circle right here. So a few teams have taken the northern part as their drop. Like some will have all those openings right now for the taking, but for M12, it's the timing that they have. And I would say the tenacity, the movement coming from TMW. They were in the battle at this point, not really in a great advantage in terms of height, but they are being made work finally after a few minutes, a couple of minutes of them on the standoff. Now let's see if who's will be turning into a ghost, and it goes down. What the Izzy? What a movement with a slide and shoot, and M12 definitely deserving that 5.
Yeah, IC definitely doing great in that particular equation. And now here comes a little bit of a awakened version of M12 Sin Main. We've been waiting for them to climb the leaderboard for quite a while already. Currently in the 12th spot with just 11 points. But this is a very different version of the squad. Picking up 5 eliminations very early on in the game. I'm sure they want more. But here comes Leap to play the denial. This time, Leap Unbound, after winning the previous lobby, looking for some big points yet again. Slash got slashed down in that particular equation, but I think they want more out of this fight.
Well, let's see. We have SC right now, who have their position, who have them in check, but a little bit of utility, a little bit of name being thrown onto MJ, and he managed to pull away. Now, will he be able to get in onto the next fight? Hasbu managed to take down Gion. Now, for M12 and the battle of MLK together with Leap Unbound. A three-way fight. There's still no chance of us knowing who's going to win.
No, absolutely not, man. MLK, though, in a situation where Waitoman just could not get out of position, and Slash will slash him down in that situation for sure. Easy pickings. And Licked Ivy out as well. Maybe the players on the side of ADMT will not be able to survive this one. If they get lucky, they might be able to. IC still continuously picking up tons of points here for the squad.
Let's see. I mean, I'm really looking forward to how well Leap is getting this momentum right now. Because from what we've seen in those surrounding them, especially as you called out, Izzy and the rest of M12, this might be a chance for them to go in for those annihilation. But Poison Ivy heard those gunshots. They smell blood. And now they're bringing the bloodbath. And it's not only M12 that is a target. Even Leap and Bound is being denied. And this is a good chance for them to really move up and catch up on who's above them on the leaderboard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And here comes Poison Ivy, Gizzy as well. Trying to make everyone dizzy with the moves off of the ninja. Looking for the climb onto the leaderboard. Currently in the third spot. They already have their hands on the prize pool potentially if they can maintain their performance from the day. But obviously they won that #1 spot for themselves. Fighting against GNR Esports Legacy as well as the one and only Four Kings.
Let's see. Four Kings. There's a chance for them to really move up. Again, getting a lot of elimination, similar to what we've seen in game number 2, where they have 25. But from what we're seeing, it's a slow pace on Blackout right now. Despite of the shifted circle, despite of some of the teams who doesn't have much of those utilities and vehicles to work with, well, they are. This is a slow game. Even the three-way battle that we've seen in this area, where Poison Ivy just capitalized on M12, as well as some of the players, if I'm saying of Leap, Unbound, is still no one being taken, or little teams being taken down. But as I say this, we have ZH right now being hunted, and the first time I was seeing ZH on a battle, and hopefully they fight back.
Yeah, Myrtle going in for the hunt. Oh, sorry. That was just a cosplay. Myrtle's not playing in the game. Very cheeky from our observers. Sekri, Gizzy, on the other hand, looking for more numbers here. Ivy just making sure they put themselves onto those high grounds and they lock down this situation because they know there might be some team members coming back in here for those dog tags of those players they just spent out there on the battlefield. Now, this is another team. Team Okay Fine, why not? I really wanted them to perform a little bit more in the day so that I can scream out their names a tad bit more, but all they're doing is closing some doors.
Well, yeah, they're just okay with that, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, just okay. And
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about this for years of casting. Limited name is something that we see often. And if you're going for, it's a fun name, but too fun. Too fun, too funny, and it's not giving that fire compared to some of the teams right here. Speaking of fire, Battle
but hey,
is, yes.
Too funny, but why not? Too funny, but why not? Okay, fine. I think they'll change their name next time. Sekre will be able to pull one away for the side of Team Ivy. Gizzy, they want more. They want more lobby victories here for themselves.
Oh.
Virus flexing his skin. We're going to officially dub this skin the Myrtle skin since she cosplayed it. Any skin that Myrtle cosplays becomes her skin.
Well, yeah, definitely. That will be named after her from now on forward, especially with all the viewers out there. So hopefully Myrtle also jumps in and acknowledge that. But as we look at this acknowledgement of where the next phase of Circle would be, a lot of trouble would be afoot because of those areas with the water that they have to cross. Rivertown was those that have a lot of hiding spot, but doesn't have that elevation. And I think it's that hill right next to Rivertown, across the river, that can be taken by those who are deadly on the snipe. So hopefully they have their eyes on that. Otherwise, they might be taken down.
Absolutely, man. And oh, Luki, what a play here on the side of GNR. Getting the shutdown and quick repositions to look for more. Clepsy found as well, and Luki claps 2 players back to back. And he's definitely on a roll now. 5 eliminations for the squad. And little by little, GNR Esports Legacy waking up in this lobby as well. Looking to make sure they catch up with 4Kings by the end of it. Speaking of which, where are 4Kings? We haven't seen any numbers from them just yet.
Yeah, last time we saw them, it's just what, 1 or 3 elimination. I don't know. Whoever is taking lead
There you
at
go.
this point, 1 elimination, and they're just on their own. They are like, as the song goes, where are you going to the moon? That is what they're doing right now. Vroom, vroom, skirt, skirt. I don't know.
They're playing bumper car, man. Let's see if they can find a SMRS hit from within the car. Dude, that'll be a legendary move. Can they pull it off? Come on, Super Jeff. Show us some magic here with the ninja. Quickly repositioning. Gah! Up close and personal. Burns down his opponent. Kyle stood no situation where he was going to walk away with the victory in that gunfight. And now they're looking for more. Sakura on the opposite side will be able to hit down a player. Get now with the backstab. Take Sacred out of the equation. And it looks like 4Kings might be able to shut down one of their bigger opponents earlier on in this lobby.
Oh, and look at get in there with the Tempest, just tickling them and freezing them on that spot. Great shot being done, great movement being done. But 4Kings right now, so from 1 to 4 real quick, and they annihilated 1 squad overall. So we're down to 9 teams already. A few more being targeted across this river, but I don't think the vehicle would work at this point for the 4Kings. They might get close, but not across, because there's only a funnel that might happen and take them down.
Absolutely. Now, Smoke's just laid out here just to protect their vehicle. They know they'll need it for a little bit of a reposition later on. Luki shutting down Sekre. Gizzy from afar. Virus getting taken out of the equation as well. This does not look good for the team of Poison Ivy. Gizzy, who've already gotten 1 lobby. Oh, what a play there with the ninja. And quickly jumping through that window on the drop from the roof. So reposition supremacy from these pros, but the question is, can they survive with 2 players taken out of the equation already? Virus is on the way back in though after the dog tag scan, but they also need to bring Sakre back in, but they've got a little bit of company here before they can get to that. Perhaps GNR Esports Legacy will snuff them out.
Well, let's see, though. I mean, Legacy has been aggressive, especially in this kind of compound gameplay. But we'll have to see, though, because a little bit of recovery is needed by Keeks. I think he has been shot down on the flank by Poison Ivy as well. But even if they know exactly where it's coming from, if they cannot get good position because of the opening area surrounding that compound, then it's just time for them to leave. And even a sniper might not take them down, but a spam on those shots might help them. GNR, licked. Not quite sure what's happening. He's doing a moonwalk right now, but that is away from the rest of the squad. Sachi and Thirst is the only 2 remaining at this point. Sachi couldn't even move because 4Kings is on a high ground.
Yeah, Virus taken out already. Super Jeff just lighting up his vehicle, and now GNR players are in a lot of trouble. Trying to blow up that vehicle, but he's not going to get enough shots in time as they quickly drive away from the heat of that battle. 6 eliminations already. 4Kings. This is their lobby. This is their map. They're already at the top of the leaderboard. Can they hold on to the lead here in a phenomenal fashion and perhaps guarantee the #1 spot for themselves by the end of game number 4 as they continue to rake up these points? Because they look like they're just getting started, Neb.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It does not look like the same Blackout map they're playing right now. Because earlier they were aggressive. They're just hunting. But they took half of the time that they have until this moment to get those eliminations. So, not quite sure what the plan is. But hopefully those chillin' like a villain moments would help them to calm down and get a better position. If not, get better communication at this point. Get away from whatever has happened in Isolated. And they can deal with AAA Alpha. Rin almost being taken down with a God Nade. And here comes the jump. Going solo, though. Let's see if Tom Peeps will be able to pull it off on the flank.
Absolutely looking strong here for the players on the side of 4Kings. Tom Peeps, high ground advantage. Gets knocked down. Taken out of the equation too early here. How are they going to do without their super kid down in the final circle? Super Jeff in a lot of trouble here. Clusters all around him. Nerosa bleeding out. The save could be pulled on through here, but making sure that does not happen is the players of GNR. Top beams down as well. Super Jeff, the final one. And GNR personally taking out the players of Four Kings to make sure they can get to that #1 spot.
Well, Four Kings took a while before dealing with AAA. The moment they hear those shots, GNR just step in and one take over. Now, with Nerosa going solo right now, or Super Jeff rather, going solo right now, Nerosa, Tom Peeps, and Get is already out. Will he be able to squeeze himself in and probably go in with Circle? But no trigger discipline as well. Then now he might be in the sights of GNR.
Absolutely. How will Super Jeff get out of this sticky situation? The team has not pulled away enough eliminations on their map. Just 6 eliminations on their side so far. So by hook or by crook, Super Jeff needs to play a super defense now and look for as many placement points as possible for himself and the squad. Amidou's down. GNR still looking for those big numbers. Super Jeff spots out a player, but he'll have to quickly reposition on the high ground. He'll have Mother Nature to back him up as well. A tree for the defense. And of course, as the defender of the squad who has been playing the defender to such perfection so far, I expect more points from him by the end of this lobby. I'm sure he can sneak a couple away for himself.
I'll see the timing of those defenders, especially in SMR's moments or named moments, was just pristine. But Super Jeff, there goes an SMRS against the opponents. And AAA right now, Showman, defender, perfect timing. Not to get shot by Rinka, but Rinka will be taken out, eliminated. And Showman will be going down because of the blue. And now that's 3 elimination being taken by the one and only Super Jeff.
Absolutely brilliant. But Super Jeff now, does he have the capability? He does have the self-revive. Maybe he can get right back up here. Trying to crawl to a safer spot.
Come on.
But all alone, what can he do? Come on, Super Jeff. In the bushes, like a wild animal. And he brings himself back into the game. In Four Kings. Oh no, the circle does him dirty. And the Four Kings out a tad bit too early to maintain that #1 spot. GNR Esports Legacy looking for that spot to replace them by the end of this round.
Oh yeah, I mean, before they started this game, it's 9 points between them, and there's a huge chance that GNR might have done that already because we're not seeing a lot of numbers earlier from the Four Kings. But ADMT, we are now getting more of that action in them. But the trouble for ADMT is they're in the middle of Poison Ivy and GNR. And it's like if you want to position yourself between the team, these are not the two teams that you want to be pinched.
Once again, looking for the #1 spot. Already 51 points. They picked past 3 games. And now they're looking to contend for the #1 spot up against GNR Esports Legacy. Both of them very close to the players on the side of Four Kings. And what's surprising is, with the breakdown of Rigid TSG, teams that are trailing Four Kings right now are all the players from the side of Rigid TSG who have split up into the other squads, Neptune.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you break it down, you still have strong players, so it only shows how well they are. But Poison Ivy, well, Dre right now goes in for a takedown. One of the players, final players of OK. Now, will he be okay to just try and snake his way through this fight? Because he's going solo right now on the 3-team battle. And Luki, I don't know if Dre has already spotted him. Probably just waiting for him. Footsteps has been heard, but not so much of angle to take, especially if you want to take that shot.
Sekre and Lei from Rigid TSG are currently in Poison Ivy Gizzy. Stella in GNR Esports Legacy, Slash and Leap Unbound. And all those 3 teams are looking to catch up. But Dre all alone now. What can he do? Inside a box and he gets annihilated by Luki. He spots out his tail. So, unfortunate in the situation. The skin just does not give him any bit of extra advantage. Waving at the opponent saying, hey, it's me.
Exactly. Well, let's see now. It's a 1v3 situation. The Luki has managed to get that 1 elimination still away, but Adamantium Esports Pyrite right now, the man advantage would be a matter of time before they will be forced to take on Luki, especially on that drop. But Luki's not making it easy for them. With the zones closing in, this will be it. And another team will be taking that victory in the fourth game of the day.
What a play! Adamantium Esports Pyrite this time rising to the occasion, pulling away the #1 spot for themselves. Tons of placement points available for them. But how high up the leaderboard do they get to climb? This is the first match where we see a little bit of a better performance from the squad. But the attention is still going to be on the teams that were already on the top 3. GNR, as usual, performing with consistency. Very impressive this time in game number 4.
Yeah, you did mention that a lot of players from the previous champions of Season 1 has been split up, part of those, and this is what they played out. If you have that knowledge, especially in the rotation, as well as what to take, even on a solo mission, then that would be crucial in this kind of fight. So, well, congratulations to Adamantium Esports Pyrite as they grab that victory, and really looking forward to how high it will bring them into leaderboard. It might be the same as what happened to Leap Unbound, because they are in the middle, not even close to both GNR and Four Kings, and then later on, after getting that victory, they just move up quickly.
Absolutely, man. Adamantium Esports Pyrite NA. They've got a long name. But they have also got a long journey to the top, because they were in the 13th spot the last time we checked them out with only 10 points in hand. So this was a crucial victory that they needed, because remember, before this game started, we were at our halfway point, which means team still had 3 games to go, and Adamantium Pyrite made the best of their final 3 opportunities, making sure they got to that final circle, and they pulled away the #1 spot here for themselves as well. Now, their big question is going to be, can they keep up this momentum on their side? Because 4 games in, 4 different winners we've got, and that's exactly what we want to see from the grand finals. Not flat out domination from any one team, and that's just going to keep the competition exciting all the way down to the end net.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's a lot that has been happening. Flip of the table, and then even a final moment wherein the previous winners is not given an opportunity. And imagine that. Like, there's a few teams that we are, a few teams in the top that we're seeing that's being taken down. I couldn't say it's easy, but they are being taken down a little bit early in these fights, not really taking that final circle, and that would take a hit. That would take a toll when it comes to the overall standings.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you look at a lobby like this, you have to play it very careful. And that's exactly what Adamantium Pyrite has been doing from the start of the day. They've been playing it very careful. They've been, you know, on a very slow approach to a lot of these battles. And after game 3, I think they made up their mind saying that, look, maybe the slow approach is not working out for us. Maybe we need to get a little bit more aggressive. Maybe we need to start looking for these elimination points. And that was the best decision that they've made here so far. Of course, again, goes back to the question, can they keep up this momentum on their side, make it into a back-to-back victory for themselves? Can they work off of this adrenaline to pull away more of these eliminations? Because God knows they need a lot of those.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of catching up to do right now. There's a lot of teams who are taking the top of the board, and I'm really excited to see how well the teams did manage to pull it off this time. There's only a few who really made that statement.
Whoa.
But despite of that victory by Adamantium Pyrite, it's still Poison Ivy Gizzy who's making us all dizzy because of the number of elimination they're bringing in, and the position that they're always taking always ends up with, what, 3 to 5 elimination in a 3-team squabble.
Look, this was a survival play for Adamantium Esports Pyrite. It was not a all-out, let's go aggressive sort of a thing. They understand that that is where they are weak at. They focus on their placement points, and that has gotten them to the top of the leaderboard in that match ranking. But in the overall grand scheme of things, they have taken a leap from the 13th spot now to the 8th spot. But Four Kings still maintaining the #1 spot. What in the holy hell? 4 kings. This is crazy. And you can definitely thank Super Jeff for that
Oh, yeah.
extra bit of survival play that he did, just making sure they've got the advantage. Poison Ivy, guys, he right behind GNR Esports Legacy. The battle between them is definitely looking to be a tad bit more heated now, with Leap Unbound catching up as well with that match victory earlier.
Yeah, we are really excited on how this is turning up right now because, like, JNR Esports as well as Poison Ivy, I'm not including 4 Kings because they didn't put in out that much. Even Poison Ivy managed to catch up to them. But this time, the top 3 is pulling away from the rest of the squad. Even Leap Unbound is far away. Probably a better run might be able to take them to the top 3. But after that game, we're going to go for a quick break. When we return, more of this Community Gladiators will happen. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Community Gladiators. You guys know what it all is about. It's the Ascension. It is a tournament set up to see exactly who can climb to the top. And the four kings, surprisingly, have proven that they can climb to the top without even winning a single lobby. How about that? Everybody else hustling behind them have already managed to get to the very end on each and every single one of the four lobbies that we have played in here so far. Yep. 2 more games to go. My name is AJ. I'm the Mustache down here with my brother Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. We are your casters for the day. And my goodness me, what an exciting day it has been so far, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from some of the teams right here, catching up is much easier, especially for those who are trailing behind for Kings. And that's one thing, though. If you're not really getting that victory, they manage to pull it off after what, 4 rounds? But if you're not getting that victory, if you're not really surviving towards the end, then it will not bring you higher unless you pull off what they did in round number 2, wherein they got 25 elimination. But after that, it didn't happen again for the 4 Kings.
Yeah, so this is just playoffs day 2. This is the Battle Royale Grand Finals. Tomorrow and the day after, we also have got games lined up for you guys. So make sure you are there to check it out as well. We have got our BR solos as well as our MP squads remaining for the championship. And for the BR squads, this is how we broke things down, right? 121 squads for the qualifiers, and we had to kick out 101 teams. On the group stage, we had a total of 20 squads, and we took the top 8 from each of the groups that we broke them down into, giving you guys the final 16 teams. And what they're playing for, not just CP, not COD points this time. They're playing for some good, whole hard cash on the table. For BR squads alone, we have got a total of 4,000 USD for the taken.
Yeah, really. I mean, there's a few teams out here who might have secured that already based on the scores that they have, but we've seen how well some of the teams are catching up. And catching up is what they really need to do fast because, as you called it, we only have 2 matches, 2 rounds remaining out here. And if they sleep, if they snooze, if they blink, they might be losing out of that prize pool.
Absolutely. And obviously, you want to get to the top 3. That's the main goal here. And if you're already capable of being a part of the top 3, you want to aim for that number 1 spot where every single team member gets to walk away with $500 US in their pocket. How crazy is that? If you get the 3rd spot, your whole team walks away with 800. But if you get the number 1 spot, everybody in your team gets to walk away with a solid 500. And I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to put that to a lot of good use. Today's matches, though, 4 games have ended. And in all 4 games, we've got unique winners. Nobody has been able to dominate that number 1 spot in each and every single one of the lobbies. But surprisingly, 4 kings who have not gotten to the number 1 spot in any one of the 4 games are number 1 on the overall leaderboard, Neptune.
Yeah, and I agree. But, well, they need to hustle because Poison Ivy Gizzy is just 4 points away from them. And even GNR Esports Legacy is only 6 points away. And we've seen how well they pull off those numbers. Like in most cases, they do have double digits and only elimination. So what more in the placement point? But once again, as we go back into isolated, another problem that needs to be dealt with by the squad is the skewed flight path. So it's already on the southern part of the area. And again, the northern part where most of those snowboards will be available would be far away from them. So hopefully they know exactly where vehicles are spawning and they can use that to make that rotation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, as we gear up for this game, let's see exactly where this will lead us into, right? Because this time, we will bring the battle back to Isolated, where 4 kings have been able to bring, quite a decent number of eliminations. They're currently averaging around 12 eliminations per isolated lobby, and I think that it's going to be good enough to keep them on that number 1 spot. But the other teams who are looking to catch up with them definitely need to pull away many, many more than just the 12 points. But at least now they've got a little bit of a marker. They have a rough idea as to how many eliminations minimum they need off of these lobbies.
Well, let's see now. I mean, looking at some of the drop spot, Sanitarium is one of those that might have an early engagement. And look at the shift to the circle, dead smack in the center of the southern part of our map. I don't know. I know that is confusing, but I was looking at some of that teams in the southern part, and they were just in the middle of that spawn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Now, I also did spot out the players on the side of Four Kings earlier, out scattered, almost pressured, but they have managed to get away to safety. But who's not in safety is the ones who are getting lit up on the battlefield right now. GNR, on the other hand, Licht is in here, and he is looking for a couple of shots out of the chopper. Very ambitious. I don't think he'll be able to get much from this, but the man is not afraid to try. Four Kings, on the other hand, rolling around. They've got the Antelope to deal a little bit of extra damage off of the railgun mounted onto the top. But Conan, sliver of health, about to get sprayed down, and that's exactly what happens. And two teams out super early in this lobby.
Yeah, exactly. Only a few minutes, and they have been eliminated. Now, it is ADMT right now, and this is the main team that is making it work for them with 4 elimination. But as we look into GNR, well, not so much of engagement, really, but as I say that, they step into the crosshairs of HRA. It's a good thing that Sachi managed to outwit and outwalk Turna, and now they might be able to capitalize on this. They have position of their opponents as well, and hopefully they have time to loot up, similar to what we're seeing to some players of GNR.
Yeah, GNR, Esports, Eternal, as well as Legacy, both looking to make the climb, but Legacy doing so much better than Eternal at this point of time. And it's looking like it's going to be impossible for Eternal to catch up to the top 3 teams if they don't make a big difference in this lobby. Checking out the players on the side of HRA Omura as well. Wild shots from up top. They spot out the players on the side of GNR Esports Eternal. And they want to light them up on the battlefield, but just not able to find those right angles yet. Cluster's going to get tossed in. Does Lick get lit up there on the battlefield? Apparently, barely a scratch on him as he quickly repositions.
Well, let's see now, Sachi. Great angle on high ground, though, but with that ship, with that mothership in there, but you being used as a cover by HRA, I guess they can back away, but I think with Thirst, a little too quick now, and also a little bit too aggressive. Despite of not having a graded skill, he does have that rewind class that can give him that opportunity to pull away. But Sachi, let's see if he'll be able to spot out one of the players of HRA, and probably this is where HRA will be falling down once more.
GNR Eternal still sticking to their positioning here. And now the players who jump into this battle is going to be from Leap Main. Now, Leap Main are not doing too well in the competition, which means this is a great fight here for HRA as well as GNR to take on. Perhaps easy points Leap Main might become in this battle, but they've got the high ground advantage. They get their one shot on connection. Tom has been tagged up already, and here comes Leap, leaping into battle. This might be a rough decision they make here, but Expressy from up top lights him up right after he gets a knock, and he's going to get taken out of the equation as well. Leap it, a big mistake by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, he is on a high ground. He had that opportunity, but the timing was just wrong. And probably they didn't expect GNR to be waiting on the other side. And again, there's no gunshots being triggered by GNR. They were just watching all of those unfold. And let's see if they can be able, if they will be able to recover out of this, because Leap, though they lost one, GNR is still as aggressive as Sachi. In spite of trying his best, he has been tagged up and knocked down.
Oh, so far so good here from Leap Main. Managing to get themselves a double knock, and GNR actually choosing to back away from that battle. Ashy once again going to get tagged up here. Lian looking for the shutdown, but needs to be really careful. The plates need to be used, or else Ashley's going to be able to turn the situation around. And as I say that, back up to 150.
Ooh.
Ashley in a lot of trouble. By the corner, Lian. Drop shot gets the perfect knockdown. That's exactly what you want to see out of Leap Main if you are a fan.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I love the timing that Leon did in there. He knows that there might be a trap being pulled in, and now that he have already spotted that player, he only has to go in for a perfect timing on that drop. Well, let's see if the timing will be perfect on the aspect as well. As they're being revived, doesn't have that sniper that he used earlier. Does have SMRS. I think a couple of SMRS being pulled in by Leap Main, but not so much to play with because even she was able to pull away the speed, and Leap Main will be left dumbfounded in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful defender play, but the follow-up is solid. Gladzilla, like a Godzilla, dropping into that play there to get another extra point for the squad. XPXZ from up top. SMRS looking for the knockdown, but Lian will give him a big hand with 1 HP. XPXZ manages to stay alive. Thank goodness for that backup. The teamwork looking good from Leap Main now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm really loving that kind of improvement, I would say, out of Leap Main because they were very low on the leaderboard last time we saw it. But now we have M12 seen, and we've seen them not really survive that long in most of the cases. They are getting a few points, but we didn't see so much of a squad wipe from those engagements. But GNR back in play against Leap Main, and Thirst right now, despite a rewind, might be taken down, but needs to reload. Aspect just dropped the ball in there for the elimination.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a little bit of a pinch here. Poison Ivy, Gizzy stepping on in. Leap Main has been having fun so far, farming this compound. 6 eliminations in hand. But I think this is going to be over if they do not get the heck out of there. MLK, on the other hand, this is Umbra Mortis. I'm hoping Rigor Mortis does not set in because they have been walking around like zombies out there so far, looking for the bigger points. But I have to say, as good as you are, this is not an easy lobby to dominate at all. Looking at the number of kings that we have in here, all of these squads looking like kings. But you know, the 4 kings just tippity-toppity at the very top. No eliminations just yet in this lobby, which is a tad bit surprising as I say that. Get finding himself flashed in the face, looking for the reposition. We'll be able to get that, and the follow-up shot. Absolutely deadly. 4 kings. Just not one to be messed around with. No eliminations to 3, just like that.
And I'm just surprised on what kind of communication these players has to be able to like spot out those opponents and then instantly go for a bait and switch. I would say that is a bait and switch because like one of the players has proven to be a distraction and the rest of the squad is just going for those knockdowns. Now, as we look at that, this is more of what we should expect out of 4 Kings, but the squad being forced in, and GNR right now needs to deal with a few players from LK.
Man, Kevs out for the shots already. GNR looking for the big one here. GNR Esports Legacy already in the top 3. Looking to catch up with Poison Ivy, Geezy, as well as 4 Kings. Can they do it? Can they make this game to be the one? 2 eliminations in hand already. Kevs looking at Clipsy from the opposite end. And I think the players on the side of Leap will be able to put on a lot of pressure on them. They take the vehicle out of the equation first as they look to quickly reposition.
Yeah, let's see if they can get that position really as their advantage, or as a squad right now. Just making sure that they are safe and might be able to get in. But as a look on to Ivy, high ground always being taken, but rewind being used and rewind used against them. And what a good trade back in terms of tactics. But Leap, will they be able to pull this off? Again, another threat to them moving up would be to Poison Ivy getting more points because they are the ones above them, but not so much.
Now, Virus Gizzy down, and Leap has jumped into the battle, and I think the boys are going to be in a tad bit of trouble here. Haspu with the pressure. Dre pushed back. Poison Ivy Gizzy in a lot of trouble now. As the players on the side of Leap go in for the chase. Dre on pressure, looking for the shutdown. And ZH Conqueror. It's a team that we have barely talked about. They've barely been allowed to play in these lobbies because of how dominant the other teams have been. But Sekre, as well as Dre, will be on a big mission now to recover those dog tags and bring their team members back in after such an aggressive start.
Sam, unfortunately, the rest of the squad, I believe, is already turned into dog tag, and ZH Conqueror, I don't know if it, I don't know, I don't want to bring it into you, but like the moment you mentioned them, they're trying to survive, they're doing quite well, and then they were out. But that's the thing, though. At this point, they still think that they can revive themselves out of the zone, recover that quickly out of the zone, but it's getting tougher and tougher right now, especially with the one of the update that we have all throughout these years, and that was just great for the teams to be forced into this engagement. But speaking of forcing the engagement, it's Leap, TZ, who forced GNR on the engagement. That aerial platform right now still being used as their I would say looting spot and waiting point.
Now AAA Alpha up against GNR Legacy. GNR looking for the #1 spot. But if AAA takes the fight up to them now and snuffs them out, maybe Four Kings will get a big assistance here off of AAA's big play. But can they shut down a team as aggressive as GNR Legacy? Red is all alone. Amidus looking for the backstab. Little by little, they're closing in on his position. Grenade's going to be dropped. Finds no tags on either players. And Amidus, slowly but surely, Travis, defender, blinds him, and Amidus has to back away. Tags in his partner instead. And now both of them pressured back with those grenades off of the GNR players. Beautiful defense played by GNR Legacy. And AAA just can't take a straightforward fight up against them as they wanted to.
Oh,
Red burned down.
Yeah, Rinka right now made it work, and it's just unfortunately the rest of the squad has been taken out. That was a great play to take down one player, but this is what I'm talking about. Trading 1 against 3. That is not looking good for the other squads. Only the giants of this competition is showing up. But Four Kings right now, they spotted those on high ground, and let's see if they can pull away, because that's not a safe spot for them to stay in.
Now, speaking of giants, Leap Unbound almost caught Four Kings with their pants down. And you know, that would be a tad bit embarrassing. Super Jeff now, quick reposition, backing away, grenades being tossed out. The SMR is on their side as well, perhaps to look to play the pressure, scare away the players on the side of GNR Legacy so that they can get away. And they're going to quickly reposition. That was a dangerous position for Four Kings to hang on to. But you see, their capability to read the situation, to read the room and quickly back away is a good reason why they're one of the more aggressive squads out there. Leap Unbound, definitely one of the top clans in the Philippines. #1 spot at Garena Elite Philippines Battle Royale Division, and they're looking for the big one here as well. But ADMT just spotting out the TNT play from Narosa, who continues to pick up these big points.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of knockdowns that happen in that fight. SMR's gameplay, especially like when you are steadily in one area, another one on the other side from Travis right now, and it's not getting easy. We are seeing a lot of engagement in the edge of a circle. They are trying to play it safe, but no one is safe in this hungry lobby. Everyone is chasing for those numbers because of how close the top 3 is.
Absolutely. Leap Unbound, they need to catch up with the rest of the competition. GNR putting on big points just means that Leap Unbound is going to be a tad bit more pressured here. MLK up against Cavs will not survive. That mighty spray. Had bullets for days there. Didn't even need to pray. Just went in there for the spray and his mighty accuracy to get another point for the squad. And speaking of a team that needs to leap into the main scene, it's Leap. Main this time around, who almost ran away with a good game in the previous matchup.
Yeah, well, let's see though. I mean, Leap Main, we see them trying to head in onto the next phase of the circle. ADMT, Pyrite. I mean, they did get a victory earlier, but they might be dealing with a full squad. Now, let's see if they will be okay at that point. But on the other side, ADMT, another squad out of Adamantium Brand, is being taken down. Let's see if they can recover, if they can survive, or probably just play it safe because of the lessened numbers that they have right now.
Adamantium Pyrite, Anna thinks that she has found herself a good parking spot, but I don't know if anyone told her that's not her garage. And Leanne Oh, losing just a tad bit of those shields. Getting hit from afar, and will be able to back away into a safe compound here with the rest of the Leap squad. This is Leap main, and Leap main is quite far away from catching up with the top three, but they're not giving up just yet. Look at that circle. Look at the number of dogs we have in here. We've got too many players for such a tight spot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of compounds, though, to hide out with, but it's only a matter of time until they meet up against each other. And GNR, maybe thirsty for blood right now, but no, I think he is full. He is pulling away, probably planning for bait and switch, but it's not working right now. A little bit of cluster, almost hitting Dre, but they're just hunting. No one is being found.
Luki has the Tempest, but Super Jeff still on a roll here. Has gotten to manage a knockdown onto the Leap player. On the side of Poison Ivy, Gizzy on the other hand, they are challenged. No eliminations in the game so far. And they are looking to shut down GNR. This is a big play. GNR, Legacy up against Poison Ivy, Gizzy. Both teams looking to catch up in Four Kings, but if they take each other out too early, Four Kings will be able to run away with the championship for sure. Can they do it? Will they do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the few missing
big
things.
one.
Out of squad right now, and there goes Poison Ivy, slowly dwindling. GNR right now trying to play it back. And again, I do agree with you at that point, AJ. Once they go against each other, and they might be able to go in and take each other out. Red, great follow-up with that cluster grenade after distraction by Cabs, and that brings GNR to only 3 players.
Man, GNR. I mean, that was a big fight, but they had no choice. All the big teams now in such a tight little zone. 20 players left alive and kicking through 7 squads. And you have to be a little bit more careful. And that's exactly what Leap is thinking. I want to stay out of this for as long as possible. Leap Unbound, one of the big names, looking to catch up with the top 3. And they're spread out quite well. And they should have a great vantage point up against the Four Kings. If and only if they step out of this defense. Now, Tom Pips looking to quickly reposition. This is going to put them at a little bit of a disadvantage. But Leap Unbound just doesn't take advantage of the situation. But as I say that, Aspu lights up Tom Peeps in the vehicle.
Well, that's about it. It's getting troublesome for Four Kings right now. And they do have 8 elimination already. The rest of the squad has already made it work. Now, we only have 7 teams remaining, but we've seen that a lot of those have less numbers on their roster. And with Get right now, just on top of GNR, I'm not sure if he'll be able to pull this off, because does have an SMG on his hand, but it's a Tempest on the other to deal with the distance. Yeah. So if he can move quick, probably he can pull off a surprise.
Oh man, big names here. Four Kings and Leap just beside each other. In fact, sandwiched between 2 Leap squads is the Four Kings. And barely a sliver of health left here on the side of Super Jeff, so he has to be really careful with his next positioning. The players on the side of Leap Unbound, on the other hand, looking for a big number. Hasbu taken down. Recovery is not going to be impossible here. And Leap Unbound quickly picking up their players down off the ground. Super Jeff's going to get taken out. But Narosa get the back-to-back on the nades and the follow-up. Pushing Leap right behind the ledge. And Gak going in for the finisher. Up against all the players. And that's the mighty smasher from the one and only Wonder Kid Gak.
Solo cleanup squad from the Wonder Kid. But that is also the cause of Super Jeff being taken down. Tom Peeps is already out of the picture. And here comes the pickup. They're still 3-man strong, 12 elimination to boot, with 5 teams in this final map, final circle. They have to deal with OK, and I don't think they are. Team OK, fine, why not? Will be making it easy for them, because some have tried, but because of the compound they're taking, they are going down. But speaking of going down, even they and GNR is being beat by the zone and those damages.
Absolutely, man. And it looks like the Four Kings are going to be able to run away with this one. Finally, is this going to be the lobby victory that we are looking for out of the Four Kings? Narosa burns down Thirst, and it looks like this just might be the moment outside the circle. Narosa's going to stay in, so mighty big disadvantage here for Clemsy. Super Jeff down on the ground, but Narosa still alive and kicking will get the first lobby victory for the Four Kings.
And finally, after 4 matches, they bring that victory to their side. And, well, this might secure their #1 spot because it was getting tight. It was getting close. And now they have managed to pull it off. But still, haven't seen the elimination coming from Poison Ivy Gizzy as well as GNR Esports Legacy, who was very close in that journey in the top 3.
Absolutely brilliant play here by the Four Kings this time round. And Super Get, man, it's not Super Jeff anymore. It's Super Get, all right? This guy, solo mission wipeout. Leap stood no chance in that situation, looking for the recovery. And you know, Super Jeff had already gotten the initial bit of damage. And it's just about the positional awareness of the players on the side of Four Kings. And he understood in that situation, the team stood a big chance. He needed to take a risk, ran at the 4 players, and managed to walk away with those solid points towards the end. And of course, that #1 spot will definitely continue to be on the side of the Four Kings after this brilliant victory from the squad.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, they managed to pull off the highest elimination in one lobby. They managed to pull off a great victory in there, especially in that 1v2 situation where Narosa doesn't have to do anything. Even Super Jeff just risk trying to find a final opponent just to make sure as well that they have one additional point for their side. But the catch-up game hasn't stopped just yet, because we've seen GNR Esports Legacy, we've seen Poison Ivy take position, even Leap and Bound. The gap between them and Poison Ivy or GNR Esports Legacy might have been reduced already, and everyone else is being left in the dust. And this is deadly for those who are on top already, because if there's a huge gap, then there's little risk of losing out.
It's not over till it's over. That's what Four Kings says in game number 5. After teasing the lobby potential victory 4 games, multiple times they got close enough towards that final circle, but just could not wrap it up. They didn't have the numbers. Even this time, they didn't have the numbers. But what was the difference maker? The difference maker was the fact that they had just a little bit more aggression on their side. They took the fight to their opponents, and I think the final circle also favored them in a very big way. Yeah. They did have a little bit of extra defense in here, but even if it wasn't the case, I think the team was looking to be the better one in that final circle for sure. It's unfortunate that Leap just could not walk away with a round victory here after finally waking up with a big round for themselves.
I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher right now. A lot of teams are already catching up. And I guess from what we've seen out of, say, Four Kings, Poison Ivy Gizzy, as well as GNR Esports Legacy, it's calculated. The number of elimination they have, yes, there's a potential of luck involved as well if they can clear entire squad, but the pacing that they have is part of the plan. You don't have to be that aggressive, especially when everyone's already being familiarized on what the other team's rotation is. And also, everyone was getting that motivation as well to go in and just go head straight into those gunfights. So it's getting harder and harder right now, and also difficult to catch up because we only have one more round to go.
Did you guys think this was going to happen? Did you guys already have it figured out that the Four Kings were going to do this, man? Because bloody hell, I'm very sure the other teams are not liking how this is going right now. The dominance is undeniable. The capability to absolutely whoop everybody in shape is undeniable. I feel like Four Kings, they definitely have the love from such a huge segment of the community for a good reason, right? But we have got one more game, Neptune, and we have seen so many competitions in our lives so far as a shoutcaster to tell you that it ain't over till we play the final match. Four Kings, as mighty as they are, they can still get knocked off of that main spot there. But GNR Legacy, I believe this time just falling behind a tad bit more. And Leap Main finally with a good round for themselves after struggling in the past 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, a good run being done by Leap Main right now, but it might be a little too late because even Leap Unbound is having trouble. And though it's a main team and Unbound team, but more of better performances coming from the Unbound team. But where is the other squad that is very close to Four Kings earlier? Poison Ivy Gizzy. Only one placement point, 0, nada, zilch on elimination. And that would push them down really hard.
Yeah, and this is where you really get to see exactly who's got that winner spirit, who's got that consistency, and game after game, we've seen Poison Ivy guys, Gizzy, just really pulling in the points, but this time, you know, it was just way too soon of an elimination from the lobby. GNR Esports Legacy did manage to get quite far, though, in the overall grand scheme of things. They do keep the pressure on Four Kings, 10 points behind them, and that's why I say, Neptune, it ain't over till it's over. GNR Esports Legacy can perhaps solidify their legacy if they can take down Four Kings a little bit earlier in this next game. But look at Leap Unbound. They are the reigning champions of what we saw of Garena Elite Philippines. But here, the story is a little bit different. The rise of the other squads just cannot be denied.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's really tough right now. They will need to bring a lot of elimination as well as get that victory to probably be able to take the #1 spot. But I'm not taking everyone out. It's because of how close the top 1 and 2 is between Four Kings and GNR Esports Legacy. Thus, those teams are mentioned a lot. It's much easier for them to pull it off. But Poison Ivy, Gizzy, if they can eliminate both of those on the top 2, then that would be a great run for them because even the ones below them, that's Leap and Bound, it's not so much of points, but if they can pull off that number to get the #1 spot, then Poison Ivy Gizzy might secure it as a clutch.
Absolutely. It's so amazing to see, right? Poison Ivy, 2 players from the former CG 2026 champions have transferred to this team, Sekwe as well as Lei, and they have been doing very well. For a team that is kind of new in terms of chemistry, they are not too bad at all. So this is definitely a team we have to look out for in the future. And I say the future because I think maybe with this one final game, it's out of their hands. I don't know if or not they're going to pull off some sort of a miracle, but, you know, to see such a miracle, we'll need them to get, 20, 30 eliminations and get that #1 spot as well. I think that's definitely asking for a lot, but it's definitely a possibility here. If you look at Blackout being the final map, if you do allow a couple of, extra survivors out there and you allow them to get their dog tag scan, bring back their team members and continue to farm, maybe. But who can pull off such a crazy gameplay, man? I mean, as good as you are, as good as Poison Ivy is with their squad members, I think it's going to be a big, big challenge for them as well.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, we've seen the highest amount of elimination in Blackout being pulled off by the Four Kings in that specific map. But that was earlier in round #2. So they managed to get 31 points, 25 elimination, and only 6 on the placement point. Force on second place, and that gave them 31 points. If in case they got that victory, that's additional 4 points, but still short to what they're aiming for.
The Four Kings finally putting their logo here on today's matches board as they get their first round victory, but it is not the victory that they were focusing on. The victory that they were focusing on was to dominate that #1 spot. And for multiple rounds now, they've been on that #1 spot. But it does not get them out of danger just yet. Like what we saw on the overall leaderboard earlier on, GNR Esports Legacy is hot on their tails, Neptune. They've already got 1 round victory here already. I'm sure they're going to be looking for another round. And if GNR Esports Legacy can pull away the final Blackout round from away from the Four Kings, get more eliminations, then obviously that's going to guarantee them. But of course, a little bit of extra pressure because Four Kings are 10 points ahead of them.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's also a huge difference in terms of the price that they're getting out of this final match. So let's see though. Let's see if they will be able to pull it off. Let's see if they will be able to flip the script, though there's no script. It's more of what everyone is writing on the battlefield right now. But I am excited to see how everyone is going to play this final Blackout map, because I don't think there's any holding back, especially for those on below the top 5 of the competition, because they might be close, they might be far from the #1 spot, but the top 3 is still part of that picture, still part of that storyline for them, and also part of a prize pool.
Yeah, man. Obviously, this is not going to be an easy run for anyone out there, but teams like Four Kings as well as GNR Esports Legacy have done their best. Poison Ivy Gizzy, unfortunately, if they had not failed in this round, I think the run would still be a very big possibility for them to compete for that #1 spot. But now they are at risk. What are they at risk of? They're at risk of losing their 3rd spot to Leap Unbound. Leap Unbound has woken up in the competition and they've slowly scratched and clawed their way up the leaderboard. And they are now just a few points behind Poison Ivy Gizzy. If Poison Ivy fails again, if Leap Unbound gets to that final circle, they will be able to get their hands on our prize pool, Neptune.
Let's see now, as a flight is coming from the east to the west right now. Northern part now is reachable compared to what we've seen earlier in this map. But again, a lot of a fight might be happening. Hydram will be meeting 2 teams. Even Factory will be having 2 teams. I think Ghost Town does have another hot drop happening, but it's up to who's going to win this fight. And Ghost Town is one of those wherein they took a lot of time before they go and eliminate each other, until I think it was GNR who introduced himself, if not Poison Ivy Gizzy, and that's where they capitalize on the numbers.
Oh man, Leap Main is in a little bit of trouble here. I think they managed to get themselves in a little bit of a pickle with a hot drop. But if you look at M12 Sin Main, they haven't committed a lot of sin today, but you need to sin in a Battle Royale lobby. You need to farm some lives, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point, it's a given. But let's see. If one thing that they can avoid is the sin of greed, because they have to be cautious. They need not to be greedy and try to get everything at once. They need to be patient enough to spot them one at a time. And there goes, okay, out of TMW, managed to pull away. But Conan right now, great follow-up. Just to make sure no one from their team will be going down.
Absolutely. Carl, high ground. Singh will unfortunately be able to get into position, but he's gonna have the rest of his team members clap his opponent as well. Back and forth we go. Payne has got a big opportunity here, and one by one they absolutely torture the opponents, and those knocks will come on through. Payne will get laid down on the ground, but it does not seem to be a situation they cannot control.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no one can control this. And we have just witnessed one team being eliminated right here. Now, for Leap, they have a couple of players remaining, and they're meeting against players from HRA. Now, Gladzilla, well, I don't think he is glad at the moment right now, because he is going Zolo, so I could call him Glad Zolo. But the rest of the squad is now going in for revive. Tom rewinds in a perfect timing, and I thought he's the one who will be taken down, but Gladzilla will be eliminated. Leon might be late, but not yet in the save.
Absolutely. Leon, oh man, loses all of his shield, but has got enough HP to keep himself in play here as Gladzilla backs him up in that battle. Leap, on the other hand, dog tags in hand, Leon will be able to bring back Gladzilla as well as XPZ. And that's what you need to do if you are Leap. Just keep the pressure on the rest of these teams here by staying alive in the competition. Pick up as many points as possible to climb up the leaderboard. Gan is going to be dropping down here on this side of MLK Umbra Mortis. And Game 2, on the other hand, just quickly trying to cut the distance down. And this high ground could just give them a decent advantage against MLK.
let's see the Bunso. Already on the ground, being taken down, and why not trying to trade on those elimination. Gets the dog tag. Now, going for a scan. LJ is also on his way back. Now, will he be able to wait enough to let them regroup, let them wait? But who's knocking the door? Who inserted a coin? Who's up for the challenge? It's Poison Ivy Gizzy, and it's not looking good for Why Not.
This is, I mean, why not take a risk, right? He definitely went in there for the risky play, got punished for it, but at least they have got one more survivor to depend on. Ivy, on the other hand, we did talk about how they have slipped a tad bit here, so they have to go all out to farm this lobby as much as possible. If you look at them just catching up with Four Kings, they need 26 points more than Four Kings, and that is a tall order. So maybe getting to the #1 spot might be out of the equation here for Poison Ivy. Guys, I hope I'm not writing them off too early, but keeping their hands on the prize pool still needs to be a play here. They cannot get taken out too early in this lobby because you see Leap Unbound right behind them, and Leap Unbound has definitely woken up in the competition. They are dangerously looking for more points.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Poison Ivy, I would say it's achievable if Four Kings and GNR Esports Legacy doesn't get a point. But you've seen how well they positioned themselves, even biding time to at least guess, if not the lowest placement. But Hasbro almost take down Showman. Rewind saves a Showman himself, and Rinka will be backing away. And this is one thing that they need to prioritize, taking cover, because from earlier they tried to pull it off, but they failed.
Yeah, Sid gets slashed down here by MJ on the side of Leap. It's a problem here when you play the rewind from the caster's perspective on a desert. It looks like you rewound to the exact same spot, but it was a different stone. So unfortunate that situation definitely turned out in his favor here with that high ground advantage. Now, they're going to quickly back away from this engagement so that they can play a little bit of recovery. And if you look at the potential of Leap Unbound climbing the leaderboard, there's definitely a good chance here, but they need to get more eliminations from the opposite window. Naro trying to go in for the backup, but it will not be needed as Showman gets shut down by Hasbu. Again, Leap just putting in the numbers early. 3 eliminations in hand, and they need way more than that.
Oh, let's see. I mean, there's still a lot of potential targets. They still can target the 12 teams out in this contention. But speaking of out of contention, MLK almost out of contention if the final player will be eliminated. Sekre right now, together with the rest of Poison Ivy, haven't spotted anyone just yet. They have been hanging in there for the longest time. After they introduced themselves, if I'm mistaken, against a TMW as well as OK, or Team OK, fine, why not? But, well, they still have plenty of time to work with, and that's when they can go for the pounds.
The play for recovery is solid, but M12 looking for those big numbers this time round. I feel like there's just a lot of pressure on them to perform as best as possible. But you look at where they sit on the overall leaderboard, and obviously it's going to be very tough for them to get up into the top 3. But I love the fact that they're not giving up. They have got a lot of a statement here to make, because, I mean, the whole world of Garena Call of Duty Mobile is tuning in to see if or not you're one of those that they have to look out for in the future. And I feel like M12 has definitely stepped up their gameplay from the start of the day, but they need a few more eliminations. 6 eliminations in this game alone shows us that they are in here serious. But Sekre, and this is Poison Ivy Gizzy, showing up at the wrong time if you are M12.
It's getting tough right now for M12, and as you called it, like, they have great numbers already, but it needs a team like Poison Ivy to humble them, and Pain might be feeling the pain right now. 4 players, and I can only imagine what Pain is feeling, like the beating of the heart in that situation.
Yeah. His heart is paining.
His heart is paining.
Yeah, his heart is paining, hurting.
The pain is
because he needs to.
The pain is aching.
Yeah? the pain is aching. Yes, is to pull in the rest of his team members. Has not managed to get to those dog tags just yet. But MLK on the way back in here as well. As we check up on Leap Unbound. Leap Unbound trying to get into the top 3. Problem for them is Poison Ivy Gizzy is picking up those solid points as well. And, well, they're not giving up just yet. Leap Unbound, they will pick up the 7th elimination to equalize the number of eliminations that has already been picked up by Poison Ivy Gizzy. So they are kind of keeping up in their own way, Neptune. They just have to make sure they don't drop the ball and just stay on this momentum.
Let's see though. Poison Ivy on a roam around. I mean, we've seen this from Four Kings earlier, using a vehicle just to find and hunt opponents. But one risky, or I would say one flaw to this plan is with a vehicle, you will be heard. You might be not seeing any of those squads that you're trying to hunt. But speaking of Hunt Pain, the guy who was hunted earlier is now in play and probably can get back the rest of the squad, or probably give a chance for the squad to get more points in placement.
Absolutely. And let's see if or not Ivy will be able to make away with more. 9, make that 10. 10 solid eliminations here for Poison Ivy. And they are not pulling a pause on their strats just yet. Going all out. We'll be able to find the 11th elimination now. Poison Ivy on a roll. And this is how you sting if you want to get to the top. We talked about how it was going to be impossible for them to catch up with the Four Kings. If they keep this up, they're going to get that.
Exactly. I mean, it's getting close. It's getting tight. And I think what they're doing right now is really not hunting even final player, because that gives them more opportunity to take advantage of the drop that will be happening later on. But there's a little bit of risk to that as well, because they're also inviting some other teams to meet them in that specific area if in case they see those players going for those shoots. And now, let's see though if they can change the pace. A little bit of a trap being triggered in light. GNR, because he spotted, he will be taken down from afar.
Yeah, good trap here by Leap and the follow-up as well. But GNR, the rest of the players do have a little bit of a high ground to work a little bit of those shots off of. So GNR Eternal taking the fight up against Leap. But it looks like they're not going to put on that continuous pressure because of the distance between them and the squad. Oh, FHJ in hand. Just a little bit of a distance issue. And he's not going to find a connection with that shot.
I mean, it's time to lock in the speed that's being used by the squad right now. And also using nature as cover to get away from that lock. Now, Pyrite or Adamantium Pyrite right now, after getting their first booyah victory, they are not showing that much of elimination in this fight. Not even so much of pressure.
Yeah, so we haven't seen Four Kings in a little bit, and I feel like they've been very quiet in this game. And if you're Four Kings, you definitely want to do that, right? You want to make sure you stay out of trouble for as long as possible. Be one of those final few teams that make it into the circle and then run away with the game, run away with those numbers. And that's exactly what they are looking to do here in this situation. Let's see if or not they can pull away a great one by the end of things. As Anna gets the SMRS knockdown onto Carl. M12 not having a great run here after starting off pretty decent.
Well, let's see now. All right. I guess this is part of the plan. The reason why we're not seeing all of those eliminations is because they're just playing it safe, waiting for the opportunity at the edge of the circle, whilst the other is not expecting them to be there. But this is something that we didn't expect as well. AAA, well, 5 elimination already. Dog tag being picked up, and probably recovery a chance for them. Still have 10 teams remaining, and it seems like this game, I was expecting it to be going all out, but it has been dragged down to the longest game ever for today.
Yeah, but you called it, man. It's Blackout, baby. And you've got a huge, huge map here to play around with. Nani? Dog tags? Everybody? About to be turned into a dog tag by the presumption of our OB here. And the players on the side of Leap just quickly finding a little bit of a safer space to play with. Trying to make the rotation round with just the snowboard. It's not going to cut it for the squad. Now, we talked about not spotting out the Four Kings, and we get a quick peek to them, and they only have a single elimination in their hands so far. They're allowing the other teams to catch up, and I don't know if or not that's a great idea. But here is GNR, Luki, and Gang. They need to pick up those big numbers, so they might just turn around on the situation and take out Adamantite.
Well, let's see if they can pull it off, because I think they're trying to run away, and they are being hunted. So there's little chance of the base switch, but at a mine time, Pyrite! Not really looking good for GNR. That's Kebs being taken down. So Legacy, though, is being eliminated one at a time.
GNR Legacy expected the big fight with Four Kings, but instead they're just getting snuffed out before they get halfway there. Adamantium Esports, Pyrite, taking the fights to them, and I think that was the smoke bomb play that got them a big advantage. Now MJ looking for the rewind. We'll go in and make sure the dog tags safely secured on their side. They bring back the rest of their team members, and Leap should be right back in here for the play.
Well, let's see now. So far, a lot of engagement happening between Leap and Poison Ivy. And there's still a lot of squad right there. Even on the elimination feed, they're not showing up. So I think they are pulling up the final page of the plan. And finally, we see them in the horizon. Leap right now might be meeting up with the Four Kings. Now, will they be able to pull this off? Because Slash and the rest of the squad might have a little bit of surprise, and Unbound can be taken down because there's still a threat of Poison Ivy in here.
The chat thinks that the Observer does not like Four Kings. That's why we're not seeing them. But the Four Kings is not doing anything, guys. They're not shooting anyone. They're just playing it very safe, very slow. So obviously, you don't want to just watch us seeing them rotate around the battlefield. We want to see some action out here as well. And the rest of the battlefield is lit up with action. Four Kings are going to stay out of trouble for as long as possible so that they can play the maximum advantage with the placement points, which I think is a brilliant strategy, Neptune.
I do agree. I mean, if they can capitalize on that, make sure that they end up on the final circle, get a few of those elimination, little here and there, then that's where they can get more onto numbers. But speaking of numbers, we have a Leap, Unbound. We thought that they might be targeted, but this time, here comes the Four Kings together with ADMT Pyrite. It's a three-way battle that's waiting to be unfolded.
Man, that was way too close. I thought Four Kings were about to get stabbed in the back in that situation. Right beside Leap here. Leap Unbound up against the players of Four Kings. But like you said, ADMT in the vicinity as well to distract the players on the side of Leap. Tom Pibbs is trying to catch up with the rest of his team members, and they get to play the game of numbers advantage here. ADMT is going to get taken out by Hasbu. The distraction of Leap might just give Four Kings a big advantage if they choose to get aggressive now.
Well, let's see, Dom. Aggression does work for them, but not for AAA Alpha. Pickup needs to be done on Rinka. Now, no sniper for him, just an SMRS, but we know for a fact that he might be able to land those against Leap Unbound, but doesn't have the elevation to work with this. And Leap Unbound is just playing it safe, just using that ridge or that high ground as a hiding spot because it's the Four Kings who's taking the ridge. So a little bit of heaven and earth action right there. But Kleptizi goes in for a takedown against the Showman.
Absolutely messy here for Four Kings because they haven't really secured a lot of points for themselves. And they're trying to play the safer route towards the final circle. They've managed to avoid a lot of the initial bit of engagements. And as you can see, far, far away from the heat of battle. And Leap, on the other hand, they know that they want to leapfrog their way into the top three. Hasbu finds Narosa. That's a big play. Four Kings in a little bit of trouble here. If they don't pick Narosa up, and it looks like gas down as well. Leap drops a God nade. Four Kings being pressured from both sides.
Well, the moment that they tried to engage, or probably forced to engage, they are being brought down. Only 2 elimination, and Super Jeff What a
There you go.
turnaround! Now, will he be able to keep himself safe? Because even Tom Peeps needs a little bit of helping, but they haven't pulled it a lot, and Tom Peeps will be out. Super Jeff once again trying to make this work on a solo, but Nard knocks him down. Now, will this be the end for the Four Kings?
Man, very safe play from the side of Four Kings, gets them eliminated from the lobby way too early. But they did get a massive number of placement points. So either way, mad respect to their strategy. But Leap will be able to leapfrog their way to the top. Leap Unbound with yet another victory on our grand finals day. But how much have they managed to secure here for themselves? The top three, I think, should be guaranteed based on what they have pulled off. As GNR did not get very far, Leap Unbound, two-time victory on our grand finals should be more than enough for a little bit of money on the table.
Yes, indeed. And I'm a little bit worried because you did call a great point in there. Wherein, like, Four Kings was not really that, I would say, performing in this game. 2 elimination last time we saw them, and they was just pours in the corner. I was expecting them to pull off a little bit of surprise hit towards the end, but there's still a lot of squad, and I'm not talking about like a lot of squad at the mid part of our leaderboard. A lot of squad coming from the top of the leaderboard. That made it difficult for even the Four Kings to get so much of the points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised that Four Kings chose to take a very passive play this time round. Our audience were pissed off. They kept saying that, hey, you know, the cameraman is biased. The cameraman doesn't want to show Four Kings. But no, Four Kings were not attacking. Four Kings were not shooting. Four Kings were just trying to be very safe, very quiet. And that quietness might have backfired big time, Neptune.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what the points are because although the Four Kings were very quiet on the eliminations, they were definitely making some noise with the placement points. They got far into this lobby and they stayed alive, I think, long enough to pick up enough placement points to still maybe keep them in contention for the #1 spot. But we'll have to wait and see what the results of the lobby are in a little bit.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they did take the 3rd spot or the 3rd place in there. And I'm just trying to recap here. So 10 is a victory. They go down 6-5 plus the 2 that they have in elimination, unless there's a few elimination that I wasn't able to count. So let's say that's 7 points that they have from that game. Is that enough to pull away from those who are very close to them, which is GNR Esports Legacy? Because I think GNR Esports Legacy was very proactive in these games.
Yeah, GNR Legacy, I think, very proactive. Even Poison Ivy Gizzy as well. You did see a little bit of a extra pressure from them onto the rest of the teams. But unfortunately, I don't think they got as far as they intended to in this lobby. Leap, on the other hand, I mean, I just say big round of applause to both Leap Main as well as Leap Unbound. Both getting into the final circle, both becoming the top #1 and #2 teams in terms of placement points, and a massive number of eliminations here on the side of Leap Unbound as well, as they secure 2 out of the 6 lobbies available for the day here in our grand finals. A huge congratulations to the brand, to the team as a whole. Obviously, winning out Garena Elite Philippines was a massive achievement for Leap Unbound. But here on the grand finals of season 2 of our Community Gladiators, the question is, were they the gladiators that managed to survive to the very end in terms of our overall leaderboard? Ooh. Leap Unbound putting on the numbers here big time. Poison Ivy Geyser with a total of 17 points, Neptune. But Four Kings down at the bottom with just 8 on their side. I think they might have been able to pull this off, but the numbers would be very, very close.
Well, let's see though. I mean, I'm looking at GNR Esports Legacy right now. Only 4 points out of them. And they're the ones on the chase against the Four Kings. And probably one reason, well, even the Four Kings are not showing up. Like, what? Whoever's chasing us has already been eliminated early. There's really no
Yeah.
point for us to gather all those. Just let's play it with placement points. Let's hide. Let's play that hide and seek. And they managed to pull it off. But I was wrong in numbers. They did get 3 eliminations, so that's one against my calculation. But I want to see if they still got the #1 spot, AJ.
Oh, I think they might have been able to hold on to it. GNR Legacy Esports got taken out of the equation too early. And Four Kings with their survival play are your champions for Season 2 of our Community Gladiators Battle Royale Squads. Just with one single lobby victory on the game number 5 and just the survival plays this time with a little bit of luck, because bloody hell, if GNR Esports Legacy had managed to survive and play as good as maybe Leap Unbound or Poison Ivy Gazy, I think the story would have been very, very different. But of course, this time around, they managed to climb up and pull a fantastic positioning for themselves to stay alive and kicking in the top 3. 91 points, but Leap Unbound got so close to taking them out of it.
Exactly. I mean, very, very close. Leap Unbound, it's just unfortunate. I mean, I think at that point, after like recovery run for them, they're just aiming for the 3rd spot. But look at how close they are on Poison Ivy Gazy as well as GNR Esports Legacy. A few more nudge, a few more of those elimination being stolen, and they could have taken it already. But unfortunately, they only take the 4th spot, and in terms of prize pool, they will be getting nothing.
Man, I am just so surprised that Leap Main recovered big time in terms of positioning on the leaderboard. But of course, in terms of catching up with the top 3 teams, it was going to be a long, long journey. And the Four Kings, with all of their fans all around their world, the kingdom of the Four Kings, I think they can celebrate because disappointment was just looming above them, Neptune. But they made sure with their survival plays that it was just enough to stay ahead of the competition.
Yeah, they are not just playing Battle Royale at this point. They are playing chess with the others are playing checkers, because it seems like everything is calculated. Everything was on point. The full roster, not only the ones being shown right now, we have Get, Super Jeff, Tom Peeps, Nerosa, as well as Kitana. Four Kings Main, congratulations for being the champions of this season's Community Gladiators.
Do you work hard or do you work smart? Four Kings, they chose to work smart. They chose to not go all out and mess up their opportunity, because you never know. And I love the fact that the Four Kings have got no ego, right? They understand that this lobby, Neptune, could kick them out if they make one small mistake. And their solution for it, don't make any mistakes, bro. Just stay surviving, play those placement points, walk away with some eliminations, and that's going to be more than enough. But like I said, GNR could have been that threat to the Four Kings. If GNR Legacy had managed to pull away some decent points here, stay alive long enough and get a massive number of eliminations, I think they could have pulled off one of the biggest upsets, which is why I hope GNR Legacy, they don't give up. They've walked away with some decent money in their hands here off of their fantastic play. They get the 2nd spot for themselves. Of course, they wanted to become champions. It wasn't possible because they got outsmarted by the Four Kings, but they got close enough. And maybe the next time they will be able to overtake the Four Kings.
Let's see now, as we end this day, as we see who is the champion of the Battle Royale Community Gladiators right here. I would like not only to congratulate the full roster that I mentioned earlier, but also the kingdom of the Four Kings, because so far, even at the beginning of this show, the support coming from those in this group, in the Four Kings roster of content creators as well as squad, has been phenomenal. Again, big shout out. I'm going to go for the first half, AJ, and just follow on the rest. That's a lot. So again, Synth, Oops Sorry, Holy Father, Tokyo, Remy, Yato, Negi, and Renzu.
Yep, you got Akaza, Fright, Winter, Instinct, Vanta, Bulate Gaming, Osis, Imzone, Shardin San Pedro, Doxy, Elora out there as well. You guys are crazy, all right? And I love all of you, not just Imzone, man. Everybody on the side of Four Kings, you know, because to get the community to where it is today, to grow the community in such a way, I mean, it's just so impressive what this clan has been able to do. And I hope they continue to do it. And I hope they continue to inspire the rest of the clans out there as well, to not just do it with aggression, but to do it with a lot of love and a lot of focus. I wish the best to the team of Four Kings, but mainly to the rest of the clans out there who tried their best today. Neptune, we cannot forget what GNR did out there. We cannot forget exactly what Leap did out there, with both Leap Unbound as well as Leap Main really putting in the maximum efforts for the day. But just walking away without the #1 spot obviously would break their heart without jumping into the top 3. But of course, they have shown us exactly what a little bit of grit and determination can get you. From the bottom to the top, they climbed up quite quickly in the day.
Well, exactly. Well, as we get in closer to the end of this tournament, once again, that was just the end of day number 2 of Community Gladiators 2026 Season 2 Ascension. And we have more that will be happening all throughout this weekend. On Saturday and Sunday, we have 2 more modes that everyone will love to see.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, 6 p.m. tomorrow, as well as the day after. We still have got more Community Gladiators action here. And a lot of money for the taking. $10,000 in totality for Community Gladiators. And your Four Kings just walked away with $2,000 That's a lot in pesos. And of course, the second spot with 1,200, the third spot with a total of 800. We have got BR solos coming up for you guys, as well as the MP squad play on the final day of our Community Gladiators. You guys don't want to miss that. It has definitely been an awesome party here today, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, after a comeback, after a while of not being in this, we have to bid goodbye and goodnight. Once again, I'm Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, together with Brother Sashu AJ. It is a pleasure to be casting this game. We'll see you again next time.
Absolutely.